Welcome to Brothers and Booze. Wait. Oh, Badger Beer Hour? Wait, on Brothers and Booze? Something's going on here. Okay. Welcome to Brothers and Booze. Takeover from Badger Beer Hour, or Badger Beer Hours. Takeover Brothers and... There's a lot of things going on crazy here, y'all. We got a little bit of news, though, from Wisconsin beer scene that we want to talk to y'all about real quick.
Landon, what's up?
Hey, Chris, how's it going, man? Just pouring a beer. Just pouring a beer.
Just a little Friday night Badger Beer Hour. Everything's great. Unusual.
Yeah. I wore my hat. I wore my hat for Doug. I know that I don't normally wear a hat. I'm just kidding. I always wear a hat.
I actually wore a hat today too because my hair got made fun of in my morning meeting at work, so I had to. Archer was one of my coworkers who's very reserved, was like, "Whoa, Chris, that hair."
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh God, this is what happens when you just have a low hygiene week and you're not in the office for a whole week." So
I wear a hat because I have low self-confidence in my balding head. That's why. Yeah.
I'm with you, man.
You got nothing to say to that? All right.
I just want to give you a big hug across our state, across our great state.
Feel it.
What are we doing? What are we even doing here, Greg?
We got news. You've got some news for us, Chris.
Well, I don't know. I'm used to. I got nothing without the little bumper things, and I need structure, Greg. No,
You missed the news one. He did include it already.
Yeah. Well, we got a little news. Today, Gathering Place Brewing here in Milwaukee. I'm in Milwaukee. Landon's not, but they announced their the Lager and Friends, which is their annual lager-based or lager-centric celebration of lager in beer festival form that they've been doing for, gosh, I think Joe said 6 years now. I think this will be the 6th year. Wow. Maybe 5th, 6th. I think, yeah. I mean, pandemic in the middle, so one of them was virtual. Right. Maybe 2 were virtual. I think 2 were. Anyway, the big news is that it's moving again. It's been the last 2 years. It's been at Old Heidelberg Park, which is kind of the big soccer complex and beer garden type thing behind Bavarian Beer House, which is just a fantastic location. And when I saw this, I was a little bummed because it said, River West Brewery. So they're moving. They're going to have the festival out on the street on Vienna Avenue, I think it is, and set up the entire festival on that street. And I talked to Joe about this today, and he was. He's obviously kind of feeling both ways about it because it was such a great location. It had this big pavilion where the brewers were, so you had that protection from the elements, which is important. Yeah. This has been kind of late spring, early summer, and there's a lot of rain that time of year. But this year's date is June 22nd, I think. It's like the 20-something of June on a Saturday, so. A little bit later than it had been, and at the brewery. So they'll have some programming inside. In previous years, they've done stuff like panels about lager culture, about lager brewing, different kind of techniques, and how to build, like how a brewery did, kind of built a lager-centric identity. With great panelists, like I moderated one that had I believe his name was Lisa Allen from Heater Allen, and I'm gonna blank on her name, but she's awesome brewer from the East Coast with also a lager centric model. So it's a cool thing. And what Joe said was that people really talked about how much they enjoyed those kind of panels, something different than just like going beer, booth to booth and getting different beers, which is obviously fun too. But so they're going to have the tap room is actually going to be kind of set up like a theater with I don't know if it's going to be a little stage, but a table with its panelists and moderators, and people will be able to come in and out. And that street is it's not like a main thoroughfare or anything, but in that area of River West, Joe said, it's a pretty industrial area, so they have wide streets for like semis and stuff, and the blocks are very long. He said that they're I think it's their July, they have block parties out there a lot, and their July one is like a food truck rally, and he said they have 1,500 to 1,700 people there. So
Wow.
it should be pretty comfortable for the few hundred that they've had the last few years. They're not looking to make it bigger, but all of this is kind of a setup to the why here, which is interesting because they this came about because of the change in the law that we've been talking about on Badger Beer Hour for like 6 months or 8 months, whatever, a long time.
Right.
So the Bavarian Beer House is a brew pub, so their license is different than the Gathering Place license, which is a brewery.
Yep. And
brew pubs can, for whatever reason, I don't know where this came from, but this was in the law, or is in the law, I guess, that was because, okay, we'll get to that, but they are able to serve out of state beer.
Okay.
So, which was kind of one of the main kind of pillars of Lager and Friends, is that they'd have breweries from outside of the state, several of which over the years do not typically distribute in Wisconsin. They've had Freem, they've had Breakside from Oregon, they've had obviously Dovetail has been there the last couple of years, Sketchbook from Illinois, a lot of Moontown I think is somewhere in the Midwest. So Kansas City Beer Company is another one. So they have all these kind of lager-centric breweries that are interested in the mission here come, and that just wasn't possible at River West. So they started planning and for this back, and of course, naturally they want to have it at their place, right? And because Joe is confident that they can put on an event like this at their location.
Yep.
It's just that they needed, they couldn't do it. Unfortunately, they don't think the law, they're cutting it too close. Like the law is technically in effect, but DOR, Department of Revenue, is still kind of drafting the rules that govern this stuff. So it's a little uncertain, and Joe said it's too uncertain to invite a brewery from Oregon that, presuming that the wheels of bureaucracy will turn at a certain rate, and then they may not. So the focus this year is going to be all Wisconsin breweries. Joe said he's really excited to talk to breweries that are outside of the Milwaukee area that don't get a lot of run, down here, smaller breweries from the Northwest or Northeast or Far West. So I think it's going to be. I was a little skeptical, and because I really liked the location that they've had the past few years. This is it's a great festival. It's super different than your typical kind of festival crowd, I think, because of the people that lager attracts, I guess. It's a little bit geekier maybe, but I think we're among friends there, Landon.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's a great showcase too for the range of lagers that exist, because you still have breweries. It's still a festival, so Lakefront's bringing their triple barrel aged Doppelbock, and what did they had something crazy last year. It was wild. There were I think 3 smoke beers last year. Among just 26 breweries, I think there were, and 2 beers each. So 50 plus beers, but you get a full pour, pretty much of small pour,
Yeah.
but a full pour
Yeah.
of just
Yeah,
about
but a full
everything.
one.
And so
Yeah.
you get a chance to just try a whole bunch of different things. Everything's obviously easy drinking, balance, unless you don't want to go a different way. I don't know. I'm talking a lot about this. It's a great festival. You should go. Tickets go on sale March 1st. The date is yep, June 22nd.
June 22nd.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
And I tweeted it out yesterday, and I'll have a story posted on Milwaukee Magazine .com, MilwaukeeMag.com tomorrow.
Awesome.
That's
the news for Brothers and Booze.
That's it. Do we get played off still, or
galaxy near you? This is Brothers and Booze, and here are your hosts,
I don't know.
Greg Washington and Doug Ziegler.
No Doug, but this is Brothers and Booze. Needed to remind you. That was Badger Beer Hour. It was a nice little preview of what we do here at Badger Beer Hour. My other stream that I love so much, fondly up with my friends Chris Drosner and Landon Cherney. But if you weren't here last week, y'all wouldn't know that we have added a new player. His name is Joel Geyer. Did I get that right?
You did. Right. You nailed it.
Look at that. Joel joins us from Brewery Travelers, and man, it's rare that you could talk to someone who's literally been to 10% of this nation's breweries. That's impressive. That's fun. And we want to welcome you again. But of course, you've never been seen with our whole crew yet. So This is the first time. So I'm excited about that. So we'll bring in the other fellas here. Landon and Chris is a black screen. So
oh man.
Nope.
I got it.
There we are.
Sorry, I was sticking around on something.
Welcome, Joel. We all want to welcome you for the first time on live stream. Yes. I was supposed to do this. Yeah. So, what are y'all? We always start with. We usually get to it before, 20 minutes in. But what are y'all drinking tonight?
You guys want to go?
I can go. Yeah. The wife went to Kansas City to get Denver beer. So
that is a solid choice right there.
Yeah. Denver Beer Company, Graham Cracker Porter.
Oh, wonderful.
Yep.
I got a t-shirt from there.
Nice. Yeah. Good beer.
Very nice. Very nice. What are some tasty notes there, Landon?
You wouldn't, not that graham crackers have a real bold taste anyway. You get a little bit of that sweetness that a graham cracker would have, not a ton. Very roasty, like a porter. I don't know, just easy drinking. It's not like extremely different than like a regular porter, but it's got a little bit of that extra sweetness that you would get from like a graham cracker.
Graham crackers are great.
Yeah, are they?
Like yeah. I see it. Like that sounds like shade on like an old guy, like food stuff. But I freaking love graham crackers. They're great. They're good. They're good. They have interesting history too. It's like some kind of Quaker thing.
I think there is a marshmallow porter out there too. There's been several s'mores beers. There's St. Paul Brewing over in the cities makes a great s'mores beer.
Dragon's Milk.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I went to a brewery. What was it last winter when they had a s'mores? They had a s'mores beer, and then they roasted a marshmallow in front of you and put it on top on with a toothpick.
Oh, nice.
I want to say it was
actually, yeah.
It might have been one in River Falls, but I don't remember for sure.
Bloomer Brewing does one where they put that marshmallow fluff on the rim of the glass, and then they put some graham cracker crumbs and chocolate all around it. It's a fucking mess, but it's really good.
Whoa, yes, Friday night.
Yeah.
Let's let her rip.
Yes.
I have to laugh because like Landon is probably the most traditional beer.
Do you know where that
of us isn't it right? I mean,
you know where that comes
True.
from, right? You know where that comes from.
Hmm.
You talking as far as traditional as
broadcasting
and
No. I mean your beer taste.
Beer taste,
right?
You famously have an aversion to.
I will occasionally grab an IPA just to see how well it's made. Because even though I don't like the style, I still want to see, and on top of that, if I've already had enough to drink and I just want another beer, I will nurse an IPA for forever. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. I'm right there with you on that one. I can't drink an IPA near as fast as if I just get a nice clean lager.
Right.
Well, Joel, what are you drinking now?
I have your, I'm not nothing too exciting today. The Happy Place Pale Ale. I'm sure most people, if you are watching this show, are probably familiar with the beer. If you're not,
at least it's a. Oh, I'm sorry.
What was it? No. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
No. You go.
Oh, I was going to say if you're not familiar with it, it's the flagship, one of the flagship beers at Third Space Brewing here in Milwaukee. Just your very classic pale ale. I don't know if you guys discussed before why they put the Midwest. Is it just a marketing tactic essentially, or is there a reason why they put the Midwest in front of the name in terms of the style? But yeah, it's just a really well made, the nice citrusy floor, kind of nice balance. It's just a really well made pale ale. I'm gonna have to try to get a little more interest because, like Landon, I tend to drink a lot of pretty clean, just regular lagers, and I know that it'll get boring if I'm drinking the same 3 or 4 beers on the stream all the time. So I'll have to try to. Which now that and part of it is now that I'm home permanently, I think I'll probably be drinking a little more adventurous around here, because part of the thing was when I was at home, I would have been getting home for only a short period of time and had been visiting breweries constantly. So it was kind of like, I just want to sit down and just have a regular beer. So I think now that, traveling a little bit less, it'll let me broaden the horizons locally more so than what I was doing previously.
So very nice. So Chris, I think that the Midwest, I don't know offhand, but usually when there's a Midwest moniker before it, it's either Midwest hops or isn't there a Midwest style of pale, right, or something like that? Or
I think it's just what's the word for it? I think it's just
reference.
It's marketing.
Yeah, it's just marketing. Yeah, is what I got.
Yeah. Okay. Straight up marketing. Okay, fine.
Appellation.
I've seen them before where they have said it's Midwest and they specify that it uses like Midwest ingredients. But I don't think every time that you see something labeled Midwest, it's necessarily like
for sure.
It's not
just a guess.
Yeah,
I think it's intended as a it's a little bit more malt forward than than a typical pale. Like a typical American pale ale, I guess, especially of the 2016 kind of vintage when that beer came out. I think it's just meant to be friendly, approachable Midwestern in that way. Yeah.
Cool. And this is friendly and approachable, which is Lagunitas hot water.
Nice.
You ever have this one, Drosner?
Yes, I'm a fan. I had one 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, they're nice. And then I'm going to get aggressive, and then we'll get to what you're drinking, Chris. I'm going to get aggressive with this Zombie Dust.
Zombie Ice.
Floyd's. Ice beer. Man, you don't see an ice beer anymore.
No.
That's an interesting fellow. So it's like an imperial pale ale, essentially, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Look, the can art though.
Is that a 19.2?
Yeah. Look at that.
I love how they went 90s on it with the ice beer design, with the blue lettering and the black can.
Teal, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I was going to cut Joel off and say, well, at least Joel has a Wisconsin beer, Landon, and then I come out with this. So
yeah,
we're on Brothers and Booze. I'm not forced to drink Wisconsin beer tonight.
Yeah, but you're representing the Badger Beer.
Yeah.
Look at me here with my Indiana beer. So whatever, it's fine. Chris, what are you drinking? And then
I actually have something interesting right now. I don't know if anybody knows about this beer yet. Or you might have heard about
what
it.
We're drinking is not interesting.
Well, no, okay. That's all right. Now let's not. That's not what I meant. But this is a brand new brand from. It's called Open Beer. It's from New Belgium, and as you can see, it's just. It's very, very tiny. It says premium lager, and it's basically just a beer, and it has 3 different labels of the same with the same beer in it, and it's just a nice, very nice.
It's just beer.
Just a beer.
I drink 2-3 of those.
Yeah, and they I think they're rolling this out basically now, nationwide, obviously, because you're in Belgium and you got that reach. It's good. I don't know. I mean, are people? I kind of got like a Untitled Art vibe from the, like this is kind of a goofy, one of the goofier labels, but they have 3 of them, and I don't have. Oh yeah, here they are. They sent coasters. This was a sample provided by the brewery. I should probably preface that. But like, yeah, this is like this is one of the other labels, which is kind of like a, whatever. And then this is the third one, like a very kind of abstract, weird thing. So I was kind of feeling like an Untitled Art kind of branding vibe to it. But obviously it's just the one beer. So I don't know. They must think that there's, I mean, everybody in America thinks every brewery in America thinks there's a market for, premium craft lager right now. So, and this is a very good one, but I mean, I guess, cool. And if you maybe you look good drinking it,
That's what it's all about, man. Yeah,
that's me looking good drinking it.
Yep.
So
now with it, wow, man,
interesting stuff.
So it wouldn't be Badger Beer Hour if we didn't have an interview, y'all. Just saying.
Oh,
so, yeah.
Well, it's not Badger Beer Hour though, is it?
Watch your mouth. Well, it's kind
I'm just saying.
You kind of did tell him earlier on that that we weren't going to be as rigid. So he's kind of like off the leash.
He's all
now.
over the place. He's right.
Oh my gosh!
But Chris has got the hat on tonight. I'm loving it. We usually see studious Chris with the plaid shirt and
it's hard to see
and all that.
But
so
Sam Calgione gave me this hat. It's a Dogfish Head hat, and he's like, I interviewed him.
Now he's name
dropping. He was in Madison for something, and they reached out and they're like, "Hey, Sam's going to be in town. Do you want to interview him?" I'm like, "Yeah." So we met at Cooper's, and I interviewed him for like an hour. It was awesome. And then at the end of it, he's like, "Hey, you want a hat, man?" And he's like he's got that like surfer bro accent. Right. He's very cool, right. and he's like, "What kind of hat do you want?" And he pulls out like there's somebody had like a bag of like 3 hats, and I'm like, I'm a journalist, like I don't. And then he's like, "Come on, man, it's cool. It's just a hat." I'm like, "I know, but I'm like that." And then I'm like, that's a cool hat. Okay.
What's it like to be Chris Drosner? Just
It was
Wisconsin beer celebrity for sure.
It was one of the highlights of my beer career for sure.
Yeah,
I know. So now, Chris, we're going to reset the room.
Okay, sorry.
All right. Without further ado, and so normally, y'all, Chris does the interview one-on-one with our guests, and that works for our format on Wednesdays, third Wednesday of every month. And we love that format. It works great. But tonight is Brothers and Booze, so everybody stays around. I might jump off here and there. Been having some weird internet connections, but this is a guest that y'all are familiar with from Badger, not on Badger Beer Hour because she's never appeared there, for the record. On Brothers and Booze, she has appeared on Brothers and Booze. Yes, Landon, Maggie Skinner has not
I could have swore
been.
we had her once on Badger Beer Hour.
I am 100% sure of it. She can verify it here.
All right.
She was also part of our Badger Beer happy hour, which we did a Twitter space every Wednesday after, and that was great. She was fantastic there. So, but she was on Brothers and Booze. My friend Doug booked her, and it was amazing. So without further ado, we're going to bring on Maggie Skinner from Revolution Brewing out of Chicago, one of Chicago's best breweries, in my opinion, on many levels. But we'll get everybody's conversation, and we're going to welcome Maggie here now. What's up, Maggie?
Hey, Maggie.
Hey. How's everyone doing?
Great. So, Maggie, can you confirm that you've never been on Badger Beer Hour, the big show?
I've never been. Never been on Badger
Not
Beer
yet.
Hour.
Not
Nope.
Well, I'm
yet.
old and forget stuff.
So, welcome, Maggie. The last time we saw you, you were literally on the road in your car, and you couldn't have any beverages. So now it looks like you're at home, relaxed. What do you got? Let's hear about it.
I got another premium lager called Cold Time from Revolution, of course. Yep. So it is
easy drinker, a normal lager.
4.8, no adjuncts, Mexican lager yeast. So it finishes super light and then still has like a really beautiful body to it. We're putting out package in Wisconsin, at least in March, and then Iowa, it's hitting the state of Iowa in April. So
nice.
Wait, that's not out yet?
It's only on draft.
Oh, okay, that's where I saw it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's out in Illinois, but not
can confirm, hell of a beer. Yeah.
Yeah. For those who are not in the area to get Revolution Brewing, this is my opinion. They are not a sponsor. I wish they were. But they are one of the best regional. And so do y'all wish they were too, by the way. Anyway.
Do we have sponsors?
I don't know. But Chris, one of the things about Badger Beer Hour, I feel that we have to sometimes give disclaimers when we are endorsing things, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Normally on a Friday, I don't give a shit. I'll say I love Revolution Brewing, and that's just my opinion. But when we have the Badger Beer Hour moniker, and we want to keep some semblance of, at least openness as far as who is influencing us to say what we need to say. No one's influencing me, not even Maggie, and she can be an influencer. Don't get it straight. But I love Revolution Brewing, one of the best places to visit in Chicago, in my opinion. I believe they have 2 locations or 3, Maggie? 2. Yeah, they're dope. They're great. So, Maggie, I don't know if you've ever met Joel, but he is the newest and greatest addition to our wonderful entourage we have here at Badger Beer Hour, and you were part of the family, being on Badger Beer Hour, Badger Happy Hour on Twitter Spaces, which I'm thinking about bringing back too if Twitter could settle down. But Joel, I would like to give you the first crack at Maggie since you're new here and you're new to her. If you have any questions or anything you want to bring up, Maggie's a Taylor Swift fan. She's a big music fan. But, Taylor Swift is playing on Sunday, so I don't know if you want to see, how she feels that Taylor's getting ready for the game and all that. Or, I'm sorry, Joe, I kind of stole your thunder, but
no, you're fine. Well, and I do know I haven't interacted too much, but I know Maggie and I do follow each other on Twitter at least. So, there has been at least semi connection there and everything. So I'd like to hear more. So I kind of just want to hear more about this Cold Time Lager in terms of development. And is it this? A beer, because like Chris was kind of talking about this earlier, where a lot more breweries are starting to feel like there is more of a market for these kind of more lower ABV beer flavored beer, for lack of a better term. Is this kind of Revolution's take on that market, or was this already something that was planned, long ago, that this is kind of another lens?
I mean, as far as the planning goes, that's kind of above my pay grade and my title. I'm just an area sales manager, but as far as Cold Time, I think that's something that for a long time, we at the brewery and people who work at breweries in general want a light, crispy beer. They want something refreshing. Anti-Hero is fantastic. We won't sully that name at all, but I think You can only have so many, and then you kind of have to stop, or you switch over to high life. And so for us, we wanted something very similar, and so we created that. The branding is super interesting. I know all the lights in here aren't working for me, but you have the dark label that switches over to the light. With this, you have the hands of a clock in the T, the gold in it, the gold whatever, the gold on the can and the gold on the top, just kind of expressing the premium branding of it. And then when you're able to feel the can, there's 12 lines on each side, just kind of showcasing the 24 hours in a day and knowing that there's always time for cold time. That's my cheesiest sales pitch for you.
Well, it's working on me. I'm going to buy a 6-pack once it gets up here. So,
And I'm going to drink it at 8 a.m.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree to the 8 a.m. The only problem with the 6-pack is that it doesn't come in a 6-pack.
Oh, well, then I'll buy a 12, whatever it is.
In a 12-pack, yeah. And then we're also doing 24-pack of 16-ounce cans. So
which is wait, hold on. 24 of 16s?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We came to play.
Yeah,
especially in Wisconsin.
That's a lot of beer.
Yeah.
Well, in Illinois, you can't. That's an on-prem only package, and I know that they would like to express that also in Wisconsin. But let's be honest, we're from Wisconsin. That's not how we're drinking.
We'll drink that.
Yeah, so I'll do it on-prem for sure. I'll put in your bars and stuff like that. But
is that like package size? Is that something else that you've done previously with the 16-ounce cans 24-pack?
We haven't. We do 16-ounce cans in Illinois of Hazy Hero and Anti-Hero, and I don't know Infinity, but definitely I think Fist City as well. That 24-pack usually stays in the 12-ounce package, and that's something that we do for Costco. So you get a 24-pack of Anti-Hero at Costco. At Costco. So the 16-ounce 24-packs are new.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
A lot of fun.
That's a different, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm happy. I'm here for it.
Cool.
Sign me up. Bring me a suitcase. Yeah, for sure.
So I was wondering about, I've been to one of the tap rooms down in Chicago, the one that is near the arcade.
The Logan Arcade.
Yeah, so cool. You go drink beer, have food, then go to the arcade and then drink some more beer. Yeah, it's a great time.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
Yeah, absolutely. All I want to know is we've seen a lot of tap rooms start to close, some even just getting rid of the tap room model, going straight to cans. How is and I don't know any, I don't go to Illinois a lot. I really don't even go to Chicago a lot anymore. How is the environment down there for tap rooms?
So our brew pub is temporarily closed because we're actually remodeling it and redoing the menu, and that just happened within the last week or so. And that is definitely a temporary basis. We find it to be thriving. I mean, especially when we do our big releases, there's still a line, there's still people, there's tons of activity. Every time I've ever been in there, just on a regular day, I'm like, it's 3:00 and it's busy here. I'm not mad,
No, that's great. That's great. Yeah, absolutely.
But I think, it's usually for us, we're very lucky that business isn't we're up 150%. It's okay, well, we're still maintaining some standards, even with the pandemic. And we're just really lucky to still be able to, be in business. So tap rooms are good, though.
Tap rooms are good. I can't imagine life without a good tap room around. So
yeah,
want to try to save them all if I can.
I just want to save those there in our brew pub, which is the one that you probably went to by the arcade. There are these really pretty hand carved wooden fists that hold up the bar.
Oh my gosh, those are amazing.
I hope they save them. I really hope they don't mess with those, but I don't have any say. So,
or at least preserve them in some way.
You just get dibs. Chicago's big on dibs, so you can just dibs it.
To be honest, the decor in that whole place is pretty awesome. I was very impressed.
They just redid one of the murals, like on the if you walk in, it's on the far left.
Yep.
A local artist did that, a friend of the tap room, and so yeah, it was nice. Captain Save Tap Room. Well,
I just want to add one thing to that conversation. I think I said this last year or last month on Badger Beer Hour, but this is the time of year that is challenging for breweries and particularly tap rooms, any hospitality business. I don't know if this joke of a winter so far maybe has made it less so, but there was a lot of intentionality about spending your hospitality dollars and your beer dollars and all that stuff during the pandemic. And I think this is the time of year when I feel that the most is, trying to make sure that I am putting my dollars toward breweries that I want to continue to exist. Of course we want all of them, but being a little bit more intentional and thinking a little bit more strategically about where you're going, what you're buying, that sort of thing. You're just one person, but together we all kind of make a difference. So that's not a question for you, Maggie. It's just kind of a spitting out and kind of encouraging our audience to think about that. I do have an actual. Oh, go ahead.
No, you're fine. Go for it. I just was going to say that I always try and make sure I tip really well when I go out. Like, it's just kind of, I'm sure the rest of you know, but also for your audience, like, yeah, it's hard out there.
If you're working on tips and you're the foot traffic is down 30%, which is I think not all that uncommon for February or January. That's just straight up less income. So I have a question about for you, Maggie, about kind of where beer is at, and you see this on a very retail level. There's a lot of rumblings about beer struggling. The numbers are flattening for craft, or even declining in some cases, depending on where you're looking. How does that play out kind of in your day-to-day, when is particularly, I guess, with accounts that maybe aren't as like we here, and probably most of the folks listening are beer people, so we just think about that's what we're going to have. There's not really that much question, but I think many of kind of the fence sitters or the kind of betweener consumers might be choosing other things, or I don't know. I guess that's kind of the question, is how are you seeing that play out in terms of like beer's primacy or not, or just kind of where beer is at in the bigger picture of, say, like a bar or maybe a grocery store or an independent grocery store, something like that. That's kind of a big question, but kind of break it up however you wish.
I mean, overall, I think, if you're at a liquor store, independent or mega chain, you're choosing with your dollar, right? That's what we were just talking about. In tap rooms and bars, you're choosing with your dollar. So for us, we want to make sure that it's affordable. I think the idea of a $25 4-pack for a double IPA, it doesn't really settle as well anymore, or not with everyone. And I think, just not that it's dead or dying by any means, like that IPA craze when you're like trying to push out something brand new with the newest hop, the latest hop. I don't think it's dead and gone. I think it's a lot of fun, but I don't think everything's getting packaged. Hence, going back to the tap room, specialty barrels, putting that into bars instead of bars and grocery stores, because you kind of keep the grocery store stocked with, the core brands, right? You want your classic IPAs. You want to be able to go back to something that you can afford and know you'll drink all of. What is that? Is that Anti-Hero? Of course it is. Just kidding. but yeah, just something, your classics, your basics, you know, the Fat Tire, the Two Hearted, the, you know, the things that you love, or people love. Either way. So I think there's that in the off-prem portion. And I think, you know, when I'm selling, it's about the dollar. How can I make the most money for you, the bar owner, and me? Because obviously I want you to have my beer. So then we make something super affordable, something super approachable. And, you know, if I can throw a T Swift reference in, you know, you add the anti-hero reference and, oh, you're having a Taylor Swift bingo. Great. You know how many people will just buy that beer based on that name? Happens every time. Happens all the time. But yeah, that's, you know, it's not my only sales tactic is Taylor Swift, but it's a hell of a one, let me tell you.
You know,
go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to say an anecdotal thing that I noticed. So I do almost all my beer shopping now at Woodman's. I love the selection there, and it's almost all refrigerated. But I used to go to Woodman's more because at our old house I was not far from one of the Woodman's locations, or not Woodman's, sorry, Otto's, one of the Otto's locations. And I had not gone to Otto's in probably a year and a half or so, or 2 years. And I recently went back because I just drove by and I just popped in quick, and the amount of shelf space dedicated to craft beer between those two times had diminished significantly in terms of more seltzers, more national brands, and even some more like cider stuff. Like there was, I don't know it on a percentage, but it was significant to be like very like, oh my gosh, like this whole aisle used to be craft beer and now only half of it is beer. Like not just craft beer, but just beer, period. So I do think that there is some of that where, you know, I don't know if that is maybe just a one place potentially, but that was kind of what you were asking about, I think, too, to a certain extent, in terms of it's not just about selling against beer, it's about selling against seltzers and wine and you know, and spirits and all that kind of stuff at this point.
Yeah, it's all the RTDs and stuff like that are coming out. It's the, even though I'm definitely guilty of drinking them, the High Noons, the White Claws, you know, we've all been there.
You don't drink White Claw. Get out of here. Do you?
Yeah, lime White Claw.
Oh, Maggie.
Well, I mean, and there's so many breweries that are making their own seltzers now too. So that's part of it too, is that breweries are also trying to get in on that bandwagon as well.
Well, and then you have the NA sector, right?
Oh yeah,
we're gonna go for it. We launched Super Zero. We have that in the state of Wisconsin, like, and so you know, give it up to Lagunitas. That rep is out here busting his butt to get it everywhere, and their mom, and that's not a but yeah, you're competing not only with every other brewery, you're competing with everything that everybody's ever made. So
I mean, I feel like Rev has a pretty good like you mentioned like kind of bang for your buck, and like Rev is like they have really good beers across the board, and I feel like their prices are always like right there with you know, the, I don't want to say it's not like cheap, but you know, like it is always a good value, like
national brand, whatever is what you're going for. Yeah.
Well, or I mean, yeah, and of course here too is like, you know, we're thinking about New Glarus. New Glarus is always kind of the peak of the price, you know, quality, you know. I don't know why it's a peak.
I mean, a lakefront kind of similar to that too. Like
lot of their lakefront too.
Lakefront is similar.
And that makes Wisconsin, I think, a pretty tough market. Like I've heard from a lot of out of state brewers about like, yeah, we just weren't ready to get in there yet because it, like, you know, there's so many breweries that do a really good job at what Wisconsin really wants, and they're closer, and the price point and all these things that make it pretty competitive. And Rev is always right there, you know, in terms of all that. So yeah. I mean, that's not a question either.
It's well, Wisconsin. It's part of the discussion, but like Wisconsin is one of Rev's best outer markets. It's because we all like to drink a fair amount, but we're also a little bit of the wild west when it comes to laws. Michigan, even like having Iowa and like going, having sales or just doing sales in Iowa, the laws are completely different. Michigan's completely different from the way it operates to here. So that, we're just out here slinging beer as fast as we can bring it in. And then,
Can you talk a little bit about that in some detail, like how it's different? You mentioned Iowa, and that's where you know the most. So can you kind of talk about the difference between those two?
Sure. So, you do have to pay for coasters and glassware, like bars and restaurants technically should. There have been distributors that'll just hand it out here. If I was going to do an event where I was bringing this flag, that would be fine here, and I could hand it out to customers. If I were to do an event on premise, like sort of our restaurant in Iowa, the distributor rep that we have would have to be there, and they would have to hand it out. I could be there, but it makes no sense for me to be there because they're handling it all. I can't legally hand anything. I can't even leave a koozie or a pin or a sticker for an account because that is coursing them, and that's it's like you taking the dogfish in the hat. Mm-hmm. Just kidding.
Okay.
But yeah, just kidding. I bet
what hat?
I would take that hat too. I get it. But I cried after meeting Sam Calgione. Don't worry.
I didn't. I want to make that known. I did not cry. No crying.
I don't believe you.
One of us is in touch with our emotions, and that is probably not me, honestly. Just kidding.
Wow. My throat is just.
No, I was kidding. Either way, the laws are just very different. So the best I can leave is my card and a sample. I think in Michigan, I've heard the Michigan rep talk about there's just like X amount of ounces that you can leave at the bar, stuff like that, even as a sample. So it's just, yeah.
Okay.
It's different.
All right. That's interesting.
State laws are absolutely wacky in some places.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So.
There's Greg.
Hey.
Greg's coming in.
What's going on? What's up, Maggie?
How are you?
Good. This zombie ice it's pretty strong, Chris.
It's like an 8-er, isn't it? 8.5, something like that.
Yeah. So we're gonna transition to a beer spotlight. I don't think anybody people who watch Brothers and Booze don't watch Badger Beer Hour don't know what a beer spotlight is. So I'm going to show y'all my version of it, and then we'll have a quick blast from the past, and then I will see y'all after that. So cheers, y'all. This should be fun. Yo, beer spotlight. This is the part of Badger Beer Hour, for those who don't know, that we spotlight a fantastic Wisconsin beer that we want everybody to understand and know and everything. But this is Brothers and Booze. This isn't Badger Beer Hour. I mean, it's kind of a mashup thing. So we're going to do something different and special on Badger Beer Hour, or Badger Beer Hour on Fridays, or Brothers and Booze with Badger Beer Hour people. What do you want to call it? I'm going to taste a delightful Bud Light. This is the beer spotlight, y'all. My brothers and Wisconsin Badger Beer Hour would never let me pull this off, so I'm going to do it here while they're here, right? And they have to sit here and watch this, right? It's Bud Light, y'all. Y'all know why it's Bud Light? Because people wanted to boycott this beer. Why? It's the most popular beer in America. Why would you want to boycott it? So, look at how light and bad of a not clean beer glass that I got. But we're beer not clean glass guys. So we ain't in no tap room like our two buddies who love to visit tap rooms are. I'm going to taste this wonderful Bud Light where you can get in many outlets in Wisconsin, if you all believe it or not. So it is kind of a Wisconsin beer. I'm just trying to say it. I'm just having a little fun here, y'all. drinking a little, big beer. Unfortunately, I couldn't find one of those Bud Light ones with the rainbow can. Shit. Because I know it's extra triggering for some of y'all. But anyway, yeah, and we're brothers and booze. We try to trigger people here, so. My craft beer friends and people who are around me are going to make fun of me for saying that this beer is drinkable. It's not horrible, y'all. No aftertaste, no really taste at all. I guess that's right. Yeah. It's still Bud Light, and I probably won't ever have one for 5 more years. But I did have one on the Badger Beer Spotlight when Badger Beer Hour took over Brothers and Booze. So I hope that y'all appreciate that. Yes, we like to celebrate Black History Month here on Brothers and Booze. I hope y'all like to celebrate Black History Month, because why not? Black history is American history. So, that being said, y'all, blast from the past. While we have the Badger Beer Hour guys here, we might as well show the first Badger Beer Hour. And I'm absolutely going to hate this because I get to watch myself live and I never do it. I am here with my new friend, beer historian. He is a member. I want to get this right because he has a lot of titles. He's a member of the Brewseum in Chicago. Our friend Liz Garibay. I know. Shout out to Liz. You know Liz too, obviously. Yep. He's a fellow at
Milwaukee County Historical Society.
Milwaukee County Historical Society. But the most important thing on your resume, my friend, is you were the intern at the National Museum of American History of Beer.
Well, with their beer and brewing curator, yeah, it was. That was last summer. Thank God that was last summer. Yeah, that was a blast. Though. That was super cool. So Teresa McCullough is the curator of beer and brewing there at the Smithsonian. Sorry, I keep stepping on my cord and it keeps moving my computer on. But yeah, right. This is the now you got to have the new graphic that's like dance party. No, but so Teresa is the curator there and for beer and brewing. And so she's documenting craft brewing history in America. And so I got to see her at work and also, do some research with her about that part of beer in American history, as well as doing my own research in DC last summer. And like I said, thank God I was urgent enough to be like, I'm going to do this year, because that would have been awful to like have all that lined up for this summer. It would have been hell. So.
Excellent job. And we got to have you back because you got to talk about what's behind you, because you look like you have one of the coolest.
Yeah, I got this. So I got to say, I have a very patient wife. This is our living room. This is just a corner of the living room. I would say half of the living room looks like it does behind me.
The man cave is the living room.
It's not just a man cave. We're very equal opportunity here at the Harry household. It is the place where both sexes can enjoy time away. As the fact is, we don't have children, so we can do whatever we want with our living room. So the computer is on the bar right now, and then I have a kegerator over to the side of me here. That's my wife right there. Putting her own say into things. But yeah, so we live pretty good. So we got pets and we got beer, and life is good.
All right, so let's jump into why I got you here, which is People's Brewing, which is the first Black brewery in Wisconsin.
You got it.
You're not the first Black brewery in America, right?
Nope. The first, if you want to load up my slides here. I can kind of go through that. So, we'll go. I didn't even keep that one in there. That's okay. So this is okay. I don't know how that one went away, but so the first Black brewery in the United States there was one newspaper article written about it. It was in 1955. Guy named John Randolph Smith. He I don't know a lot about him. According to this news article, he was blind. He was some sort of entrepreneur. He came up from Atlanta to what seems like Trenton, New Jersey, and he bought the Colony House brand from Eastern Brewing Company and had his own brewery. I don't know when it ended. I don't know anything beyond that he owned that brewery based on a newspaper. And I've seen a couple of corroborating newspaper articles, but 1955. So well before Peoples was bought by African Americans in 1970.
Okay.
So that 15 years beforehand. So up until recently, that wasn't known. What was known about a year or two ago was what I have here on the slides, and that is Sunshine beer in Reading, Pennsylvania. So about an hour outside of Philly. They were bought by some black businessmen from Philadelphia about 6 months before Peoples in 1969. And I went out to Reading and didn't find a whole lot there either. So there's a lot of digging that needs to be done on all these things. A lot of this stuff wasn't documented because it was brief too, because Sunshine under black ownership lasted like less than 2 years. So not a lot that's hung around about that. And then the label on the right is Black Pride. And they never had an actual brewery, but they were a beer brand that the Chicago NAACP was kind of affiliated with. And they, I love that label a lot. But they actually brewed their beer in West Bend.
Oh.
So because there was this, in the brewing industry during this time, there's like massive consolidation going on. And West Bend brewed Lithia beer. Was their big flagship beer, and they were on their way to going out of business, which they did in 1972. And they were approached by this group of black businessmen from Chicago, and they were basically the only brewery that would agree to produce their beer. But who knows what it tasted like? There was never like an emphasis on taste. It was just like, this beer's black owned, therefore maybe black people will drink it. I don't know. Like it never came about that way. So that was like before Peoples.
Right.
Then this guy enters the scene whose name is Ted Mack. So Ted Mack was born in Alabama in the Jim Crow South in 1930. And he was an athlete who became an activist. And so he, after the Korean War, goes to play football at Ohio State. And for whatever reason, transfers to Marquette University in Milwaukee and throws his back out before he can play any football, and gets a degree in social work, and he decides to follow that path instead. And so Ted becomes involved with a lot of different racial causes in Milwaukee, with the Congress of Racial Equality and the Human Rights Commission. He leads the Milwaukee delegation to Washington, D.C. in 1963 for Martin Luther King's March for Jobs and Freedom, the famous I Have a Dream speech. He was there for that. So really important guy. So Ted Mack starts working for Pabst Brewing Company in 1965. This is actually his Marquette yearbook photo. So you can find it pretty easily, right? Top right corner. 1958 is his Marquette photo. The reason that Ted Mack got into all this stuff is racial lines in Milwaukee during this time were really, really stressed. I mean, they still are. As you may have seen, based on what's going on in the country recently, Milwaukee is still one of the most segregated cities in America. So the map on the left is a redlining map. The map on the right is a map of the expansion of what they call the inner core. This is actually basically the black neighborhoods in Milwaukee. The federal government color-coded maps to determine housing values or housing risk for loans in the 1930s, and realtors use that to segregate people. And so you have this massive urban population going in one direction that is massively impoverished. And so Ted Mack sees this, and he has a group of businessmen with him that are like, the reason or the way to get through this and to empower our own people is to become entrepreneurs. And so Ted Mack in 1964 or 65, he starts working for Pabst, actually. They were forced to integrate the brewing industry because of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. And so he was a noted civil rights leader in Milwaukee, and so the Pabst management hired him, and he was working at Pabst when he caught wind in 1968 that Pabst would have to divest itself of another famous Milwaukee brand, which is Blatz, because the courts had said that they were antitrust. So, which is crazy today when you see these all conglomerations like Molson or InBev. The courts are like, no, Pabst, you're big enough. You don't need it. Yep. So they try. So when he was working at Pabst, he found out that Blatz had to go, and so he got this group of black businessmen in Milwaukee that he knew together to try to make this bid for Blatz. And they were part of a huge breweries all over the place were trying to buy Blatz, and ultimately the group they put together was called United Black Enterprises. They failed. They bought about $2 million. So they put a bid up for $9 million and said, "Hey, can we have some more time?" And the judge says no, because I don't think you're going to be successful with this anyway, because you're black.
You're black, right?
Like that was like you got this bid together. I don't believe it. Like, no. So Heileman's out of La Crosse. So you're probably familiar with Old Style, but that's what they brew. And so Heileman's they bought Blatz and produced it for a long time until Pabst actually bought it back. And I mean, Pabst has this huge portfolio now of beer brands. So that didn't work out, and the United Black Enterprises and Ted Mack said, well, we still want to buy a brewery, because they saw that black people were buying beer, and all that money that they're spending on beer is leaving the black community. So let's find something where we can keep the beer money in the black community. So they move on to People's Brewing Company in Oshkosh, Wisconsin in 1970. So again, behind the other breweries that we talked about at the beginning, but Oshkosh was really white at this point. Of the 50,000 people that were listed in the 1970 census, 103 people were black. That's pretty crazy. So, and they had their own racial struggles that you can, Google Oshkosh racial civil rights history, and you'll find those. But People's Brewing Company was this brewery that in Oshkosh, it was founded in 1911. And so it'd been around a long time, and it was hitting the same like stresses that every other small brewery was hitting at this time, where you have all this consolidation going on, and you can't keep up with production and price cuts from, Pabst and Miller and Budweiser moving into your market saying, we're going to offer this beer at cheaper prices. Because at that point, price point was like the difference. It wasn't like, hey, I want like the better beer. It was like, what can I afford to buy more of? And so Peoples agreed to sell to Ted Mack and his business associates, and in 1970, April became the first black brewery in Wisconsin. And so Ted Mack, there's one of the newspaper photos there of Ted with all the cases of Peoples going down the production line there. He had a massive plan for expansion. He really wanted this to be the beer of black culture in America, and things just didn't quite work out for just a multitude of reasons. This is one of the advertisements that they would have put in black neighborhoods or black areas. You can actually find those playing cards on eBay if you look hard enough, just a heads up. But yeah, right. So there's a collection at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee where I go to school that you can actually see that poster. So they had massive expansion plans, but it was thwarted by big beer and government, and they really just encountered a ton of obstacles in their way. Like the biggest example I've heard and seen is they wanted to distribute into Gary, Indiana, which still has a very large black population. They did not have a distributor in Gary, Indiana, and due to the liquor laws, they could not get their product in. They were actually met at the border by the state patrol. So, and basically, and I don't know if Ted Mack knew that was going to happen, because maybe he was thinking like, well, yeah, I'm going to do this anyway, and we'll see, we'll see what the man does. But But yeah, they were stopped and turned around. I think they eventually got their product over there, but they had this massive expansion plan. At the same time, the taps in Oshkosh pulled All People's products right away because of black ownership. They did get them back within the first year, but it was slow to happen. And then they had all these rumors that the beer wasn't going to be as good, so they sent like a sample down to Siebel in Chicago. There's rumors that they were going to take all of the white staff in Oshkosh and replace it with black staff from Milwaukee, and none of that was true. And so like all that like comes to a head in 1972. Ted Mack tries to jumpstart business with a new stock sale to try to get some more like marketing cash.
Money.
Like yeah, and it was too late. He talked about moving the brewery down to Alabama, which wouldn't have been possible anyway because like legally you couldn't own a brewery in Alabama at that point because of prohibition laws that were still on the books. He actually even talked about moving it to Africa. And by that time, like the loans, because they were able to finance the brewery with a loan from the Small Business Administration in the government, and those loans were coming due. And so the Small Business Administration took possession of the brewery, and by the start of 1973, People's was out of business.
Wow.
So I mean,
yeah. It was how long? I'm sorry, John. How long was People's up and running and running like a brewery?
Under black ownership, from April. Well, they bought it in April. It was like official doors opening in August of 1970. By November of 1972, so it's just about 2 years.
Well, just about 2 years. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is when they went out, and so then later on it becomes this. There's a court case that went to the federal courts about the big breweries basically paying off distributors and retailers to like carry their product, because Budweiser and Pabst knew that these little distributors that were mom and pop things could not afford to lose their business. Therefore, they could keep out People's. So beer would just be stuck on the shelves because the distributors would be like, yeah, we have this agreement, but I can't take it. And the Small Business Administration, they, as an arm of the government and through affirmative action legislation, had said like, hey, we'll help you get government contracts like through the military, because the military at that point, I don't know what they do today, but they bought quite a bit of beer. And so people, after they went out of business, actually sued the government for $1 million to say, hey, we were supposed to get this proportion of your money. And so they lost because the judge says you weren't going to be successful anyway, don't worry about it. And so there's all these systemic failures along the way. And like, don't get me wrong, there was racism in Oshkosh and stuff like that. But a majority of the people in Oshkosh supported this because it was a business and it was a symbol of their city. Because they had the Oshkosh Brewing Company that made the brand Chief Oshkosh. They made People's. And People's actually bought Chief Oshkosh at one point. And so like this was the last brewery left in Oshkosh. So they knew they weren't going to have a brewery anymore. And so sure enough, Oshkosh didn't have a brewery until the Fox River Brewing Company in the 90s. So there it is. I think that's my last. So here's some news articles of them laying off workers. The thing is like, so there's Ted Mack later on, because that's about an article that he participated in about Ohio State football program. But he like basically People's was the last black brewery until the craft era. And in Wisconsin, we only have one brewery that has some black ownership, and that's Venture in Milwaukee.
Right. We have 3 diversely owned breweries. Meaning
3, okay.
Not owned by all white males.
Sure.
So we have we have Pearl Street, who's owned partially owned by a woman.
Okay.
And we have Giant Jones, owned by 2 women in Madison, Wisconsin.
Well, then Sprecher is owned. The new owner is from India. He's the principal owner. But yeah, but I mean, just the fact that there are no, fully black-owned breweries in the state is telling of not only the politics of the state, but also the economics of the state. Because it is not cheap to start a brewery, and it's not cheap to start home brewing or go to brewing school. So there's my spiel.
Well, John, thanks. Thanks for a lot of yeah. So I wasn't planning to play that whole thing, but I'm glad I did, and I hope y'all enjoyed it. And we're going to bring back my friends right now, and Landon's back, Joel's back, Chris is back, Maggie's back, and in traditional form, y'all going to have to wait to comment on everything that just happened at the last call.
A lot happened, Greg. A lot happened.
I know, but we got to move on real fast. So y'all will have plenty of time to get that in. I have an important question for y'all, and then we might have breaking news from a brewery that was just mentioned. So that should be fun, or maybe will be, or I'm not sure. But here's my question, ladies first. So I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Maggie, you can go first. Joel, Landon, Chris is always last.
It was a beer style. I don't know. I would probably just say like a milk stout or something like that, like a stout in general. I guess it could be a rye stout too. Love isn't always sweet. It could be a little spicy, but that's my answer. There you
go. I'll go, because we're having a milder February. I still want something darker, but something a little lighter bodied. I know it's probably not technically maybe the style, but I'm going to go with a Schwarzbier. A little bit dark, but you're starting to get a little bit on the lighter body side. We're, especially right now. I mean, hell, right now in Wisconsin, we all know it's not actually spring. We know that we're going to get bludgeoned to death at some point still, probably before, the end of this, in the next few weeks. But we all can pretend that, oh yeah, no, these 40 and 50 degree temps are going to stick around. But in general, by the end of February, you're starting to get close to the beginning of spring. So a little bit lighter body, you're not doing anything too heavy. But yeah, I guess that'll be my pick.
I will go with a Doppelbock.
Yeah.
That was my other. That was my other idea.
I knew you were gonna.
You, Chris. I sniped you,
bastard.
Now is the season for beer poking, if you know what that is. So Doppelbock is the perfect style for that. You know what beer poking is, Greg?
Yep.
Yes, but the way you said it was different.
I meant to say it the way I said.
Like on Facebook, you just poke. You're just.
I said what I said.
I said what I said.
Yep, bitch. I said what I said. Yes. Chris, are you going to go with your original, or are you going to switch off now? Or?
No. Well, I'm going to give fresh content here, Greg. I was going to say Doppelbock because we did a little story in Milwaukee Magazine's February issue about Doppelbock, and particularly the Doppelbock from a former Maggie Skinner joint, the Fermentorium. Their Latibulator Doppelbock was probably one of my favorite beers, whatever year that came out, 22, I think. So we were just kind of brainstorming ideas, and every time, like, I work for Milwaukee Magazine, so like our audience is like the whole city and not necessarily just beer people. But I'm like trying to push beer stuff in there as much as I can. So I was like, hey, what if of the month that's like a hero shot of this beautiful beer? It's so nice looking, and it's just perfect for the season. And they were like, yeah, okay. And so we worked it out. I'm pretty sure Chris Volkman, the the owner and brewer at Fermentorium might have just brewed it because I asked him to. I'm like, hey, are you guys doing the Simulator again this year? He's like, I don't know. I guess we could. I'm like, when would it maybe be for February or March, or when would you be releasing that? He's like, he's kind of just doing the math. Anyway, okay, that's not my answer. Anyway, but yeah, you should check out that magazine and nice little story. I'll go with B-Wizzle. Oh, this is an iced bourbon barrel barley wine from Central Waters. They're doing their big annual bourbon barley wine release in 2 weeks from this weekend, February 24th at Amherst and Milwaukee tap rooms. So yeah, barley wine. I don't know. February sucks. Let's drink something that's 18% ABV, right? That's insane. Yeah.
Then I think Greg picked Bud Light already, I think.
Yeah, we got a lot to talk about with that, Greg.
Greg already picked Bud Light for his pick for February. So
what's he got there? Make yourself big.
We'll just drop them if they're going to be rude. Okay. So we have this guy's got to be reminded, Landon. I got the controls, motherfucker.
I know it.
So
I know it.
I'm drinking a fabulous Donut Don from Venture Brewing. And Venture Brewing is a fantastic brewery here in Wisconsin. Milwaukee, of course. I'm lagging here, so I'm gonna let these guys back up here. Unfortunately, I don't really want to, Landon, but we'll do this. And I'm drinking
in jail.
A Donut Don.
I regret nothing.
So, Donut Don will be considered a pastry stout. So my answer will be pastry stout. It's a little bit sweet. It's a big beer. We want sweet things around Valentine's Day, right, y'all? I mean, that's the whole thing. So Valentine's Day is in the middle. Whether you celebrate it or not, it's America. It's a holiday. You have to deal with it. So that's kind of how So Donut Don from Venture Brewing. Fabulous. So yeah. So I'm glitching a little bit here. So I'm going to try to ditch out and come back. But before that, I believe we might have breaking news, y'all. From another guest that we're going to invite here. We're going to, did I say invite? We're going to invite to our stage. How about that? Another alumni of Brothers and Booze, and also Badger Beer Hour. No,
Happy Hour.
Oh, but he was never another Brothers and Booze, but never on Badger Beer Hour.
No, Simon.
No, I'm pretty sure. He was on
he was on BBH too. Yeah.
He was?
The main show. Yeah, we interviewed him for something, I think.
How do we let that shit happen?
We could ask him.
Right. Without further ado, we'll bring up Simon.
He's just been giggling backstage the whole time.
It's true. My son took my phone, so he's watching Minecraft in his bed. So I just you get this lovely photo of me.
Yeah. Oh, either way, it's lovely. How you been, Simon?
Hey! If February was a beer style, I'm drinking a barley wine from Delta Beer Labs, so I'm right there with Chris.
Ooh, I haven't had that one.
Barrel aged barley wine. I don't know. It's 13.9%. What do I have to do later? Nothing.
What are you gonna do later? Nothing.
Nothing.
That's fatalism right there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
drink barley wine, do nothing.
That's right. I mean,
Simon, what's up with this double Donut Don?
Oh, you got the double Donut Dons. Yeah, so that's double the vanilla, double the coffee. So Donut Don is a imperial stout that we do every year with a donut shop down the street from us. They produce crullers, which are they're essentially dough turds that are deep fried and then covered in frosting. So delicious. We decided to throw a bunch of those in the mash when we make a stout. So, I mean, it's all intents and purposes, it is a true pastry stout with pastries in the stout. Then we add some vanilla, add our Colombian coffee, and call it a day. And most times we have a couple of varieties or variations on them. This last year we did a double donut Don. So we did double vanilla, double coffee. We did a barrel aged version and then a barrel aged version with blueberry and maple. It's not overly sweet. It's sweet, but it's not it's not syrupy. Our imperial stout that we do every year called the Night Crew is generally a bit sweeter than that, but yeah, it's got a lot of flavors. So anyways, I would go with February is a barley wine. It's either that or like a shorty. Like a Rhinelander shorty.
What? In February?
Yeah, dude. February's short.
You gotta drink like 20. Oh, got it. Okay. Let's go say you're gonna have to drink like 20 of those to get,
Nah, 29.
Yeah.
Simon, I don't know. You were talking about having something to tell us.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Well, I mean, all the paperwork is done, I guess. So I feel okay saying it. But we are expanding. So that's kind of absolutely terrifying and wonderful all at the same time. We close next week. So
that's exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Tell us more.
Yeah, so we will be
yeah, Chris is taking notes.
Chris already knows. Chris has the press release.
That's called an embargo for
that's right.
those who don't know how journalism works sometimes.
Yeah,
it's good to be.
Yeah, Chris, don't write anything until Monday. Thanks. So I mean, essentially, so Biloba Brewing Company is in Brookfield, and they've been around for almost 10 years now. Started by Gordon and Jean Lane. Really, really wonderful people. He has been in the beer industry for a very long time, and this was kind of their fun project where he is like a mad scientist where you have a conversation with him and he starts laughing and his hair just kind of sways a little bit, and he's constantly talking about different ideas and things that he has. And so Rob, my business partner, and I have been customers of theirs for as long as they've been open. Rob actually did a photograph them for Chris, do you remember Edible Milwaukee or Edible Magazine?
Yep.
So for one of the early issues of that, Rob photographed Gordon and Jean for that. Because as far as it goes, beer in the Milwaukee area, they were probably close to, if not the first after the big three to open, Sprecher, Lakefront, and Milwaukee Brewing Company. I think he was right along the same timeline as Brenner and some of the other people. But he's doing everything from lambics to Scottish ales to a bunch of things. But he is, he's getting older in age. He's got a bunch of grandkids, and just kind of seemed like a natural progression to hand it off to someone else. They had kind of truncated hours because he just didn't want to be open, which, to some people that's a fortunate, wonderful thing. For us, we don't have that choice, I guess. But yeah, so he's just ready to kind of retire, move on, and try to, we've had a really wonderful relationship with them for a while, so it just kind of seemed like something that made sense. He did a great job of creating community with the people who are regulars at his tap room, with the people who are in Brookfield. For those of you who aren't familiar with Milwaukee, it's probably about 20 minutes west of our current tap room and brewery. It's like literally one street. It's the same street we're on. You just take that left a little bit. So take that west and then take a right and then you're there. So it's kind of nice in proximity, but it's far enough away to where it probably won't share the same customers. We'll do both coffee and beer. We still got to figure out a lot of the logistics on when it'll actually be open as venture, and if we're going to open with just beer or try to do beer and coffee at the same time, or if we're opening with just weekend hours. There's a lot of questions on top of continuing to operate our current space and do things. So a lot of questions still, a lot of things that we're constantly plugging away on day in, day out. But yeah, that's a thing.
Cool.
Chris, who has the questions? I have so many questions.
Maggie is first.
Maggie, ladies first. I don't want to. Gosper, if you need to jump in, at it.
Go ahead.
First of all, congratulations, Simon.
Thanks.
I think that's really wonderful. I think it speaks to the Milwaukee business and what you're doing for the community that you're already in, that you're able to grow and expand. I guess how I say this from someone who ran 2 different tap rooms in 2 different locations. How do you expect to adapt to the consumers in that area and that community?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's something that we have a lot of questions about ourselves. I'm not exactly sure how to do that in the best possible way. Some of the ideas that we've had were to hire a community like liaison. I'm sure I could come up with like a sexier name than that, but essentially somebody who's in tune with what's happening in the area around. And he's got a mug club membership of about 80 strong that we're going to just invite into ours pro bono for the year. So that I think will help. It's a already established business with established customers. So I think that will also help. We also told Gordon that if he ever wants to just show up at the bar and play court jester, he can totally do that. And he's down with that. Which, I think is a little bit different than opening up a brand new spot, or opening up, purchasing another person's space that isn't connected to the community or held in high regard in the community. So I think that's going to be helpful, figuring out if it makes sense to kind of get somebody in there who's connected to the surrounding area, and then having another person who's connected to our current area, because we're going to be bouncing between the two. So having a point person at both spots, and then having our overarching kind of general manager taking care of scheduling and events and some of the other kind of random things. So it's a lot. It's something we put thought into, especially seeing other places that have opened second locations or third locations that have struggled, because it's tough. Like for us, we also need the production. It's not just a shell of a space. It's going to be an active brewery, so there will be production that's happening there. I think also our taproom staff does a really great job of connecting with our customers, and with having the coffee aspect, it gives kind of a broader spectrum of connection. We'll be open the majority of the day versus, a handful of hours in the afternoon, evening on the latter half of the week. So it gives more opportunity to touch people. We have a handful of people at our current tap room who are there 2 to 3 times a day regularly. They're getting coffee, they're getting tea in the afternoon, then they're getting a beer at night before they go home. So it's really a space where it's more cheers than it is, airport bar. You don't have a bunch of random people coming through. You have a lot of regulars who are stopping there because it's their home. So figuring out how to really create that space and create that comfort and do that is, I think that's a challenge for any business, regardless of what they're irregardless of what they're doing, whether it's beverages or food or retail or whatever. Finding a way to create that space, and make it accessible and a place where people can connect.
Yeah. Well, you answered the first part of my question.
Damn.
Yeah.
I take it back.
But good job. Good job. Because I was going to ask if you were going to brew there. Obviously, you're going to brew there now.
Yeah.
What is that going to look like? Is it going to be just the same beers that you brew at your current location, or are you going to try new things? And I know it's early in your planning, but what are the thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's early in our planning, but this has been in the works for probably like 2.5 years. So it's been kind of in some form of process for quite a while. It's like the worst held secret in the world. I think part of the idea is to use that facility. That facility has a 10-barrel brew house with kind of 2 fermenters and 2 brights. You could use, essentially it could be 3 fermenters and 1 bright, but there's not a ton of fermentation tanks. So for us, that would be like our North Ave Pale Ale. We would like to do kind of a year-round lager if possible. Nice. That would be wonderful. I would enjoy that.
Yeah.
Everybody's like,
I don't know. I mean, we do a year-round
saison.
I mean, shit. February beer should be saison, and March beer should be saison, and May beer should be saison. But I mean, whatever. Not everyone likes kimchi.
When you see it saison, when you have a house saison, you get it every time. That is my philosophy. Every time I'm at
100%. Yeah,
I'm a regular. One of my beers, one of my 2 or 3 beers or whatever, will always be the Heights, because special beer and it needs to be applauded.
So I mean, but that's something that we produce at our North Avenue facility on the regular, and we have a 10-barrel saison tank that we just kind of keep there for that purpose. And it doesn't move like a lager, so it should be fine. But just trying to find things that we can create that are bigger batches, and then use the North Ave facility for our IPAs and for our fruited sours, for our maybe for a bigger barrel aged beers. We might actually do those at the Brookfield facility because they have rakes, which is really, 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 really helpful. And it's a 10-barrel system, so we could probably put in 10 barrels worth of grain and then do a 5-barrel batch, which would be helpful. So, because like for our night crew, we brewed that a couple of months back, but that was 3 mashes. So it's an extremely long day on our system because it's just not designed for that.
There's just so much volume that it.
Yeah. So we throw in grain, we do our first mash, and then we sparge to about 4 barrels, and then we put in more grain, empty that grain, put in more grain, use the wort that's there to be kind of our strike water, then we sparge, and then we use it again. So it's not very efficient, or at least definitely not efficient based on our time, but it's a good beer. So whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of the idea.
Cool. Yeah. Well, and so I wanted to touch more on the physical location as well, because I've always been intrigued with BiB being out there in Brookfield, because I know I've talked with Chris about this and other folks about kind of how the breweries are set up in the Milwaukee metro area. And that location is one that is essentially the only show in town. It has been holding it down there.
Yeah.
And you have to drive at least 12 minutes or so before you get to any brewery, because you're either going down to Raised Grain and Waukesha, or you're going all the way over.
I like Waukesha.
Yeah, Waukesha. Yeah,
that's my favorite.
Got kind of combination there, or over into Toast.
Yep.
And so it's kind of there. Where was this a situation where I know you talked about your relationship already, that kind of right place, right time. You knew the people. Was it just kind of we're going to expand because it's there, or was this a simple did you look at other places? Did you look also at places in like Bayview or Walker's Point that had a bunch of breweries, or was it more of we like where this brewery is in Brookfield, and this?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah. No, we didn't look anywhere else. Is the simple answer. I think that where Gordon is and where BiB is it's a good spot. There is nothing around, and there are people who are thirsty. So I think being able to create community in a space, in a place that people want that and need that. So I mean, one of the things that I used to be a churchgoer, avid, my whole life. Post opening a business, that has not been a thing. I don't have time, unfortunately. But the thing that I do miss is the community that was around it, and the random people that I would meet after service, or like just this weird, this weird amount of different people from different places in life and different situations, different everything, all in the same place for the same reason. And that, it's not something that I'm necessarily ever going to go back to either, but it doesn't mean that I can't create that space for people. And not saying that my tap room is a church, but it kind of is. That it's a space for people to come and meet and meet other people amongst the common thing, right? I mean, the whole idea of having coffee and beer is that both of those liquids are things that connect people. You go out to a bar with your friend, or you go meet somebody for business over coffee, or you just sit and journal, with your latte. I think it's something that the things that we create are a conduit to creating community and opportunity for people to connect. And I think that's a bit of a different approach than some places take. And I think that's part of the reason also why Brookfield was kind of a something that looked good. Not just because there's no beer around, but there's not a lot of places for people to go and connect that aren't like a big box store, that aren't an Olive Garden or a Fuddruckers or a whatever the hell it is. So oh yeah, that was a fun one.
Is there actually a Fudd? There is a Fuddruckers out there.
There is a Fuddrucker. Yeah, I used to swap the first letters of things.
Oh, of course, spoonerize it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I used to do that all the time, and we were doing that in college, and I went to a Christian college, and I just yelled out Fuddruckers, but I switched the letters, and I was like, oh,
we've been cursing. I think we can just say it.
Yeah, I mean, now I swear like a pirate, so whatever, Fuddruckers, Red Fuckers, but then it was I was like, oh my god, I mean, oh my lord. Oh, sweet. Sweet
You
baby
gotta
Jesus.
you gotta do a beer named Rudfuckers.
Rudfuckers, yeah. It's a collab with Ale Asylum. R.I.P.
Well, either way, I'm glad that if Biloba is going, is looking to move on, the folks there is that there is still going to be not just a brewery but a quality brewery, stepping in its place. I think that is really good news. I think for everyone involved.
Yeah, I think we've Gordon helped us source our brew system, our brew house. He helped us with a ton of things when we were getting started. A lot of questions that we had, he fielded those like a champ, especially since we were just basically noobs. It was, it makes a lot of sense from, I think, a lot of standpoints. It's different. I'm not as familiar with the space as I would like to be. I'm not as familiar with the community as I would like to be. And I don't know that I will be able to be. But that doesn't mean that I can't hire people that understand my vision and or at least me and Rob's vision and our ideas to, create this space that is connected to people and bring people together.
What I mean, I know this is a venture story, but to some degree, as Joel kind of mentioned it, that it's the end of the story for Biloba, or I guess my question is kind of, or is it like, do you guys plan to keep any of their beers, or like some kind of like you mentioned,
Hell no.
having Gordon like hold court or whatever, like be part of that community, because of course like he is. And
yes.
But can you talk a little bit about what the kind of continuity plans are there?
Yeah, for sure. Also a lot of things to figure out as we're going. There's going to be a lot of kind of bumbling along the way. But so is opening a brewery as a home brewer who's bartended at one place. So and never pulled a shot of espresso. Opening a coffee shop, that's a fun one. You just kind of learn along the way. I think continuity wise, just trying to create, look at some of the recipes that Gordon did, and he's got a really solid cream ale called Section 25. His Saison on Oak has been on since the day he opened.
That is a quality beer.
So figuring out getting the information on how he's making that beer. But a couple of things, kind of keeping some of those things on. Of course, bringing more accessibility to the actual beer too. He was still filling growlers, which I don't know if we're gonna do or not. That's gonna be a point of contention, I'm sure. But we will have 4-packs in cans that are available, which he had done, 4-packs of 12-ounce bottles of some beer. So there will be more to-go options. There will be more, ways that people can interact with us, and hoping to start a couple of leagues. We have a cribbage league at our current North Ave location, and probably start a cribbage league out there. And there's a couple of opportunities to keep some of the things going that they had already done, and then constantly. I'm sure. I don't know. There's a lot of things like how do you do an anniversary party? Do you do it at one location? Do you do it at 2 locations? Is it an anniversary based on when you open the second location? Well, like I don't know. I don't know what any of those
Porque
things.
no los dos. Just let it rip.
I
More
know.
parties.
Yeah. I mean, it makes
Biloba's founding. You can do Biloba's founding. You can do Venture Brookfield opening. You can do Venture North Avenue opening.
Right.
Just
you open enough locations, it'll just be anniversaries
parties
all year round.
all the time,
every weekend.
Yeah. I mean, and the biggest thing for me is, when we opened Venture on North Ave, it was 100 hours plus a week. It was never seeing my family. my son at that point. Liam was born in February, so his birthday's on Sunday, February 11th, in 2018, and we opened in July 7th, 2018. So he was a little tiny baby boy. And now he is a full raging anger machine, but so awesome and creative and wonderful, and all of the things that 6-year-olds will be. But like it's realizing that we are in kind of control of some of that destiny. That having a location that is kind of operating well and operating is very, very functional. Being able to focus a little bit on the other location, but then not sacrificing everything that we've worked as far to get as far as like some semblance of family life. So hiring good people, putting them in good places, and then trying to make sure that the community still feels taken care of and looked out for, on top of continuing to make really good beer and saison.
What's the timeline for opening as venture?
It's a great question. I got to figure that out by Monday. No. That's right. So we applied for a federal permit a couple of weeks, 2 weeks ago, when we knew that, okay, this is actually going to be a thing. So in order for us to brew there, right now we can use our second location, or extension of premise, so we can use that right now,
to sell
beer.
right?
Yeah. We applied for our federal brewing license, and then we'll apply for our state brewing license, which is pretty quick once we get our federal, to actually make beer there. And that would allow us an extra taproom license as well. But there's a lot of, I'm not exactly sure. Oh, I got that same glass, Greg. It's a good glass. I'm not sure.
Do you have the same beer?
No, I have a year. Oh, no. I don't think I have any of those in my possession.
What is that? That's a venture beer.
Yeah, it's Hold Music.
Oh.
So funny thing about that beer is we actually canned a bunch of that beer during the pandemic. It was supposed to be one of our first like barrel-aged saisons. Didn't realize that it had gotten extremely oxidized in the transfer from the barrels to the bright tank, and so we canned it all, and then we opened we had like rolled a couple of labels on, and then opened, or like one of them actually fell and like punctured a hole in the side. So then Rob like poured it into a glass, and it was purple. And Rob's like, this beer is not supposed to be purple. It had wheat and oats and a bunch of like higher protein things in it because it was a barrel-aged saison. Turns out when you have higher protein beers and it gets oxidized, it turns purple. So we ended up dumping the whole batch, and then we still had a shit ton of labels. So the next batch of beer that came out of that barrel ended up being that beer that Greg is drinking, and it is not oxidized. Lessons are learned.
Nice.
Opening, I don't know. As soon as we possibly can. We'd like to be at least somewhat functional by St. Patty's Day.
Oh, okay. I mean,
the interior is just kind of needs our spin on it, but I mean the tap lines are there. I think we'll probably figure out a new layout for furniture, and then do some paint, change some signs, do a couple of things to make
and that's the March target, that's not the brewing target, right? I mean, federal licenses are
right. Who knows?
Couple months,
well,
right?
I mean, maybe there's not a lot of breweries opening up these days.
True.
So
yeah.
So it's I don't know. Maybe it might be quicker than that. Might be longer. I don't know. But at least then, we should hopefully be able to be open and functioning somewhat, even if it's on a truncated kind of weekly schedule. Buying all the stuff for the cafe side of it is a little bit of a investment as well. So getting the espresso machine in, getting the grinders, getting the drip machine, it's probably like, it's a solid 50,000. So,
Can I ask another question?
You can do whatever you want, unless Greg says.
Well, I'm asking Greg. Greg's the boss here.
No,
he's the.
We also have to roast. We also have to save time to roast him for his Bud Light. So.
Yeah, the chat was going hot during that.
It was off the hook. Okay. So one thing that I have always liked about Biloba and its location is, like people think about Brookfield and they think what you kind of alluded to is like big box, like 6-lane Blue Mounds and there's kind of a there's kind of a aesthetic that people associate with Brookfield, Milwaukee people, I guess maybe, but I mean it is the most dominant like landscape in Brookfield, and Biloba is not in that. I mean, people think about a brewery in Brookfield, you might assume like strip mall, whatever, and not that like whatever, that's fine, but there is this kind of little downtown. It feels like a little historic, a little, they're like the train tracks go through there, and it used to be a stagecoach station, and like if there is a downtown Brookfield, this is it. Was that location kind of appealing to you in like Venture is very good at, like you've alluded many times to like building the community and having that feel and reflecting it and having it be a space for that. Like, was that a particular part of the appeal of Biloba?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I would be remiss if I said no. Remiss? I would be incorrect if I said no. I mean, that space is, and that stretch is awesome. I mean, you go down there and it feels like this like cutesy little downtown area.
It is like a little walkable area, which
right.
I think people don't really associate with. There's a salon.
Right.
There's a.
I mean, it looks like
Elm.
Was it Elm Grove or whatever is right there? Yeah. So it's kind of like this little space that's apart from the big box store, or the mall, or the office high rise. Which, I mean, there's a good amount of office space in Brookfield, right? Especially on Blue Mound and that direction. There's a lot of like office parks. It's very different.
And those are customers, right? Like,
yeah, those are customers for sure.
Like happy hour, right?
100%. I mean, where's your business going to go for happy hour? I don't know. I would like to say Venture. You should. But that's also a different constituent base than we have at North Ave, because we don't have business parks around at all. We have a lot of transient people who are passing by us. We have a neighborhood, but that neighborhood is also, people aren't necessarily stopping at our place to have one before they go home. They're picking up their kid on their way home. So it's kind of a different feeling versus, at 4 p.m. you're going to have a beer and then you're going to pick up your kid at 5. So I think that space is going to be awesome. There's like a great patio space right out in front of it that we want to try and utilize. There's a parking lot, which is fun because we do. Yeah, we do not have a parking lot. I in the summer, or at least when it goes to alternate side parking, I move the Venture van every single day just to make sure it's on the right side of the street. So yeah, I mean, there are things that I think will be pretty great, but I think that downtown space also is being developed a bit as well. There's a handful of apartment buildings and condos that are going up a block away from there, and I think there's a decent amount of development that's planned in the near future right over there. So you know, the dichotomy of being a business owner, or like the weird part about being a business owner and then being a small business owner, or like having, I don't know what the word is, a ethos, is how do you create a space that continues to perpetuate the brand that you created, while being able to pay off my credit card debt that I accrued from the first space. So like there's always if you don't discuss profit, or if profit is not some form of motivation, then you're consistently going to be in a weird space where you can't do cool shit. Revolution is a great example, right? Like they can do a lot of cool shit because they have a lot of kind of underlying consistency with their bottom line profit. You know, and they can have a fucking barrel forest with a spreadsheet of what's in each barrel, and then blend random things and do whatever they want.
Yeah, can we just pause for a moment to appreciate Rev's barrel program? Like, yeah, wow.
Shout out to Marty and Victor. I have nothing to do with it. Marty's the man.
I need to meet him someday. He came to Raise. He's been around.
Yeah, he's around all the time. That's why I'm like, let me know.
I have like 3-year-olds. Anyways,
as a side note, real quick, go back to this. He does have his own barrel aging, consultation service called Barrelonics. So if you do want to ask him questions, or if anybody wants to ask him questions or help them get started with their own barrel aging program, Barrelonics. There you go.
Nice. Yeah, I think that kind of going back to the broader question is like to extract money out of the equation when it's a business is kind of asinine. I think that having morals and an ethos that help guide how you make a profit makes more sense. So I think that there's a possibility for a good amount of profit to be made in that space. And venture on North Ave has been fairly successful for us, which is great. But when you talk about 2 people plus production plus other people, and I think we're at 9 staff right now. In the summer we ballooned to anywhere between 15 to 16. I mean, on a small scale, that's a decent amount of people, and I'm partially responsible for them being able to put food in their mouths.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that's going to balloon to a little bit more with the second location, but being able to not having as much trepidation about saying, yeah, your paycheck is going to be here this week. Is I think it puts me in a better mental space, being able to, maybe reach out and think through, what's it look like to hire a full-time brewer, or hire a full-time salesperson, or hire somebody who's tending to the communities that we are a part of. I think that, that makes me, anytime anyone opens a business and they say that they're like 100% positive it's going to work, I'm a little weirded out about that. But
I was gonna say, are you nervous at all? I mean,
hell yeah.
But I mean,
we're buying the building and the business, so it's which there's a lot of trepidation there. It's not cheap. So there's trepidation, but I think that also makes us makes us more cognizant about the decisions that we do make, because it does matter. You know, the people who we are employing and the people who we are servicing do matter. So finding ways to continue, you know, I mean, shit. I want people in Brookfield to be able to have a great date night at our spot. I don't know. Like for me as a father and having a bunch of, well, a gaggle of kids, 3 kids. It's like for my wife and I to get away, it's $20 an hour minimum. So like
it's got to be a good date. It's got to be a good date.
It has to be a good date. Plus, like if I need to travel,
the pressure.
If I need to travel an hour to get to Bayview and an hour to get home, that's $40, man. On top of what I'm paying at Good Kind. So I'm in for a solid $300 on top of, you know, and additional travel. So I think that you know, cool spaces and good food and good beverage can go to people where they're at. And I think that there's enough great beer in Bayview. There's a lot of good beer downtown. I don't know. Let's go west.
So, Simon, we want to actually at the end of the day give you one last round of applause because tough times, and if y'all are good enough to be, you know, trying to move out and branch out, and more people can drink your coffee and your wonderful beer, we're here for that. But Simon, right now though, I kind of want to get messy with the folks.
Get it.
Kind of want to cause a little conflict here on purpose. And
you didn't do that already?
We will get to that. We will get to that. We will
open up a Coors Light.
But so I've been chomping at the bit to talk about this, y'all. Today is National Pizza Day, and everybody loves pizza. And if you don't, then I will exit you off my stage immediately. But
I had a pizza. It's called barley wine.
I want to talk about the worst pizza styles, and the worst pizza toppings. So I'm going to start, and then y'all can argue with me, but I don't really give a fuck. For all due respect, I care about y'all opinions about beer. Y'all are good people, but I don't give a fuck about what you think about my pizza choice. I don't care. All right. So before I hear any motherfucking comments, I'm going to say this. So, my first question is, why the hell would you do this? What is the purpose of fucking
you talking about pineapple?
Pizza?
Hey, get out of here.
What is the fucking purpose? Okay, that's number one.
It's flavor, bro.
Second is, why the fuck would you do this? Like, what in the fuck? Look, pineapple is one thing. This is a fucking abomination. What the fuck?
What
is out? This is called Altoona.
I sent the Altoona pizza, man. That is got to be the creme de la creme of the crappy pizza styles.
American what the hell is that? Fucking cheese.
Is that like a biscuit? What is that?
No, it's like I would say it's like a Detroit style.
It's Satan punishing us. That's what it is.
It looks like there's no butter at all in that. Like what? It looks like whole wheat.
Fucking mess. It's a fucking.
I'm like leaning in. I'm like, how bad is
this? This is my worst.
Gross.
This is the worst pizza style I got, and this is the Altoona. Worst topping I got.
Okay.
So I was gonna do Altoona also.
All right, we need to talk about the pineapple at least because, like, I mean,
we can.
This is ostensibly a beer show, so
he doesn't want to hear.
No, this is a messy show. This is what this is.
You're about to hear it, Greg. I don't care if you don't want to hear it. You're about to hear it.
Okay.
It's like
lady.
It's like a dragon fruit Maybach, you know? Like, okay, well, like you can do that, but like
Maggie seems to have the biggest issue. So let's Maggie go.
No, I literally just had pineapple on a pizza the other fucking day.
Why?
Because
it's delicious.
Sweet, you have this. Yeah, thank you. You have the sweet, you have the salty, the warm, it's gooey. Mind your business. Are you kidding me right now?
It is a little unfair that Greg is the only one that has the buttons for the sound effects.
Yeah, that sucks.
Y'all notice how that works?
No, I think
What's up, Maggie?
Pizza is great. I've never even heard of the Altoona pizza style.
Nobody's gonna bat for that. No, hell no.
No, I don't. Now that
stop showing it too. It doesn't make it any better.
I like that. I like the bottle cap for scale.
Yeah. People from Altoona must either hate themselves or just hate everyone else. If that's
which Altoona.
That was
Pennsylvania,
my
I think.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure I can.
Oh no, Michael! Not the.
Michael, yeah, no. Let's fucking
go. Not the Team Pineapple Pizza. I'll just say. I mean, like, if you're doing like pizza flights, like a little square this big, I've never done.
What the hell's a pizza flight?
I made it up.
Yeah,
but
hey.
It's a beer show. We're
I have the Altoona style pizza is a distinct type of pizza created in the city of Altoona, Pennsylvania, by the Altoona Hotel. It's distinctive. It is a Sicilian style pizza dough, tomato sauce, sliced green pepper, salami, topped with American cheese.
Pass.
Look at that. Is that like a bad version of it or something? Because that looks horrible.
It says that the crust is made of Sicilian pizza dough, giving it a thick and soft crust. It's what it says here.
No.
I don't think whatever words you're using to describe it can't be positive.
No. Do not want. Greg, do you have something on the St. Louis? The St. Louis style? We got that. We got. Is that coming up on this? Because that's some pretty weird shit too.
The Google pizza styles. What the fuck? What's St. Louis? All right.
Yeah. You don't know with the Provel and the
Provel. Yeah.
Oh, like I do. Yes, I do.
It's actually, like processed cheese food slab of.
No, it's not a slab. It's
is it like Velveeta?
It's like thick. Well, the crust is thick like a Detroit style, but the Promel is like a mixture of different cheeses or whatever.
It's like called. Velveeta. It's like Velveeta if it were provolone. I think that's the. Yeah.
Gross.
No, it's okay. No,
has anybody actually had it? I'm just repulsed by the concept of it.
I've had it. I've made it. It's so good.
It's good?
Yeah, it's
with
good.
The Provel. I just get this like vibe of like extreme foot taste with that cheese, and it kind of I don't know.
I mean, it's not the best of the 90s. I love the 90s, but that's not one of the best things to come out of the
90s. I think deep dish is trash, but also the Altoona.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know existed, but deep dish
hot take.
Like Chicago's, like
yeah. Wait. What kind of all deep dish or Chicago or where we at?
I would say like. When I think of deep dish, I guess I think of Chicago deep dish. And I know.
Wow, I just gotta tweet this. Rev sales rep trashes Chicago style pizza on important live stream.
I'll take it.
Listening.
Comfort me because so John Carruthers is our
Is he a news? That's a news anchor name. John.
Well, he could be.
John Carruthers.
Reporting live, John Carruthers.
News with John Carruthers.
An essential beer Twitter follow.
He is.
Yeah.
I think it's like nachos and lager or something like that. Or maybe that's his Instagram.
Sign me up.
Either way, he does crust fun pizza, and so he'll make pizzas.
Yeah, he basically like it's like fundraising for whatever cause of the month or something, and he just like in his home kitchen just makes like a shit ton of pizza and does a pop-up, and everybody just like loves it. Deep
and they
good callback. That's somebody who's been with us.
Yes. Well, it's also both are trash. So
but John ended up like he didn't he do like a book or something about that or a show something.
He was on Chopped. I know that.
Okay.
Yeah. He has a writing. He does like, I don't know. I sent you guys private chat. You guys can share it wherever. His website, the Crust and Pizza. Follow him on Instagram. I think they have their own Instagram as well. But yes. So he just raises money.
And can we just say this is the real Chicago style pizza?
This is my point. Yes.
Thin cracker crust.
Yes.
Tavern cut. Go ahead. Take it away. Yeah.
Tavern crust is the way. Tavern crust is the way to go.
Tavern cut.
This is it. This is what I think of when I think of Chicago. So tweet at me, come for me for the deep dish. I don't give a shit. When I think of Chicago, I think of good pizza. That's what I think of. So
I've got another really nasty. I know we did the Altoona. I mentioned that earlier, but have you guys heard of the Rhode Island pizza strips before?
No,
I already don't like it.
Yeah, no. Here, hold on. I'll share my screen here.
I mean, Rhode Island ice strip, but I don't know about pizza.
Rhode Island.
This sounds horrible.
Every region has their own pizza.
It's just us projecting what we think about whatever place it is.
Yeah,
Rhode Island. There's a lot of Italians and.
Is everybody seeing that there?
Yeah, that's lasagna, bro.
Yeah. No, it's there's.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Was that burnt sauce?
Cheese bread.
Yeah. So here's it. I pulled up the description. It is this pizza strip, rectangular with crust, and here's the kicker: served at room temperature.
Oh God! What the fuck?
Yuck.
Hey, I like cold pizza.
So
I like
yeah.
I like cold pizza. Yeah,
cold pizza. Yeah,
I don't want that pizza served cold.
No, but you want it cold after it's been hot, and you chose to make it cold.
Yeah, I think that's a different distinction. Yeah. So yeah, that was.
I mean, I'm sure this isn't like never cooked, but
yeah, I'm sorry. That was probably pretty scarring. That one was not. Zooming in on the picture.
The Altoona tops it as far as scarring. I mean, you put
the Altoona was
American cheese. Are you
or
serious?
Italians that die every time you show that. Naples was crashing as we speak.
They're just reckless disregard for it's like fuck it. Let's just put American on it.
For the culinary arts.
Just send it out. Send it out.
That's all they had left. Apparently, that's all.
We're out of the mozzarella. Just fucking send it out. There's American in the cooler. Just ship it.
That's fragile.
Landon, what's your worst?
You know what I mean?
Ohio style pizza.
Ohio style.
Where they just don't
care.
Don't care. Like no effort.
Here's where it didn't happen.
Oh, is that like cold toppings?
That's where like they just put cheese on it but didn't melt it. And like
really
uncooked pepperoni.
Raw pepper. I mean, not raw, but like.
That's like a Lunchable. That's a Lunchable. That's a Lunchable.
Essentially Ohio just makes Lunchables. Yeah.
How are you guys?
That's my homemade bagel fucking pizza
photos?
when I was 12.
How are you sharing these photos?
Can you make that bigger? I can only peer in so much.
Well, it's a small picture, but essentially what you're seeing is just shit pizza. I guess the crust is sort of cooked, but they don't.
Is it like white bread or something under there? Like that would be the thing that would just make the most sense.
No, it's crust.
It's just fucking Wonder Bread.
They put effort in on the crust and then just give up on the rest of it.
Huh.
Yo, this shit. Hold on.
It tracks with Ohio, right? Apologies to all our Ohio viewers. Yeah.
How do I do this?
Apologies to our Ohio viewers. You live in the world with shit pizza. Sorry about that. The only apology. Jesus.
Joel, you got yours in, right?
Yeah, the Rhode Island one. And I'm sure I can find another one here, but
wait. Landon, what's the worst topping ever?
Oh
God. I'm gonna go with a classic. I like most toppings. It's anchovies. If you're gonna put anchovies on there, that's disgusting.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
And I still see it on menus. So somebody
That was
still
a very
orders it.
safe answer. That was a very safe answer. Joel, what is your worst topping?
Well, so to not go with anything picked, so I know that a lot of people like them. My wife and I both do not like mushrooms, the texture thing. And I think it's one of those
come
things
on.
that, well, I think most people either like you
And
either,
mushrooms are
This
absolutely
guy's on Badger Beer Hour now? What the fuck? Did we not vet him?
cool.
Doesn't like mushrooms?
And mushrooms are bad. Real mushrooms, perfect.
Oh, okay, all right.
But like
And mushrooms are trash. I agree with Simon.
Joel, are you talking?
Yeah.
You're talking about the slimy mushrooms,
yeah,
right?
yeah, that's what
Yeah.
most. I mean, that's what
Alright.
so many places use. I mean,
Although,
I worked at a pizza place, and they
like
were
there are like some of the
Don't
classic
recommend
like Milwaukee style pizza, like the Balstrari's on 68.
Zaffiro's.
Zaffiro's does canned mushrooms too.
I don't know.
I think they might.
You know, these.
I'm not
Yes,
sure.
they do. They do. They do.
Do
They
they?
do. Yes, I've had them recently, and I regretted.
But like,
very much.
and I don't know, somehow it works. It's weird. If you've got a fucking great slapping pizza all around the, but man, I love those like really thin, fresh mushrooms when they just like, and it's like sliver thin. This city, baby. That's for Andrew and Kenosha right there. But yeah, that's the best. And then they kind of dry out a little bit, and they're like, "Oh, that's the best." I love fresh
but
mushrooms, man.
as someone that worked in a pizza place, those like when you just buy like a huge can, like the huge can of the mushrooms, yeah. No.
But it's got to be like the big can, like the 5-pound can.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah.
Jesus.
I want that now. I want that in my house. What do you guys think about giardiniera on pizza? Let's discuss.
I'm here for
You
it.
fuck with that?
Yeah, I like it.
For sure.
Chris, what are your worst styles and what is your worst topping so we can make fun of you and drag you? Chris?
I'm guarded, I guess, in my actual eating of pizza. I mean, I mentioned the St. Louis style as like something that I don't really want to, but that's only like I've never experienced it. But I don't know. Smells like it sounds like it seems like it would taste like feet. I don't know.
It's great.
Is it? Is it though? I don't know. Okay. I kind of don't really have time for a New York style pizza. The big floppy thing where you fold it and
what?
I know. I mean,
Really?
like again, I'm sure there are like I have all of it is better than all of the pizzas that have been like these abominations that have been mentioned.
Yeah.
Yes. It is not worse than that.
Chris compares New York pizza to Altoona pizza next.
Well, no. That's not what I'm saying. But like, I've never been to New Haven. I haven't had like a real New Haven pizza, right?
Yeah.
So, and I've never been to New York either. But like, that's been exported now. Like, I don't know, dude. It's fine. It's fine. But like, people are like, oh my god, it's like the best. And it's like, nah. Give me that thin cracker crust. Give me just like a straight up like the glass nickel, like the Madison glass nickel hand toss. That's a good pizza. That's a good pizza. Is that
All
might
right.
be New York style? It's not New York style. No.
What's the worst
No, it's not
topping,
New York
Chris?
style.
Prepare. What is the worst
Worst
topping?
topping? I don't actually. I have a worst pizza, but it's kind of a whole like what is that word? It's like a whole world. And it's and I this is a place that I love, and I don't want to like, this is the weirdest thing on their menu, and it's the Harmony Bar in Madison, and they have a puttanesca pizza that is capers, anchovies, like Kalamata olives. It's basically just like a salt. It's a salt brick of a pizza. And I was like, let's get that. That sounds great.
Why?
Like, I love all those things. And then like, it might be like fresh garlic too or something. I don't know. It's my mouth. Like, my mouth just was like folding in on itself.
Gross.
I ate like one, and it was like, there were like 5 of us, and we ate like one piece each, and we're like, let's get some burgers, man.
Yeah.
Oh, I think actually
great in concept and
by the way.
Oh man, it's a lot. So shout out to the Harmony, love the Harmony bar, but holy crap, that pizza. And their pizza's good too. That's the thing. Their pizza is good. But oh man, that's like on a pizza flight, that would be perfect. But goddamn, I don't want 16 ounces of it.
This made a pizza flight. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. We're gonna ride with it.
The other one I was going to say, from my time working at a pizza place, sauerkraut does not need to be. I just don't like sauerkraut in general. But sauerkraut, sauerkraut in general doesn't need to be in existence. But in my opinion, but on a pizza, no, it does not. But yeah, we had that at a pizza place. I think they had a Reuben pizza also that had the sauerkraut on it. Which I guess is a little bit, but I also there was places, I remember once where you could just choose whatever toppings. And one time someone ordered a pizza with just sauerkraut on it. So just the sauce, the cheese.
Yeah, I don't get that.
And wait, no cheese?
No cheese. No, so sauce, cheese,
and sauerkraut?
Yeah. And it was just like, did you lose a bet? Is this like a punishment for a fantasy football league? Or, just good night. So
okay, Drosner, I have a question. Best pizza place in Milwaukee.
Ooh,
we just did this in one of our ask the.
You better put the right answer in.
Ask the editors or something. One of these weekly things that we do. Mine is probably Zafiro's. But Balustrades on 68th is a close second.
Ooh, okay. Wow.
Simon?
What?
Boy.
Simon, slice, man.
Simon, hold on, Simon. We need to get your favorite worst beer style and worst topping.
Yo, so okay, so
dragging Chris all over the place.
I was just I was just out in Portland, Oregon, and we went to this we went to the seaside. It's called Seaside, I guess. But like this hold on, let me see if I can present share screen. There we go.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Let's see it.
I don't know if I can. Yeah, there we go. Okay. All right. It was just like, what the fuck?
I'm browsing it right now.
What the fuck is this?
What?
Like, hold on, let me.
That is not a taco pizza.
Let me zoom in and scoot over here. Can I scoot over? Please?
I don't know.
No, I don't know.
What the shit is that?
Hold on, let's see if I can.
What's it say?
Taco pizza.
Feta. Oh, feta. Get your feta off of the pizza.
Also, yeah, okay, I'm fine with feta, but like
slices of tomato.
But full slices of tomato. What is that?
No, taco.
Oh no.
That looks like tomato.
Baby, no.
Oh God.
You can't do that.
I was like, what is going on?
You have to eat the tomatoes first, and then
full fucking slice.
No.
I mean, like fresh tomatoes on a taco. Anyway, what are we doing here?
I know. The best part is we went with like my kids, and I don't know why it's still on that one here.
Should be called the Taco Bell pizza.
Yeah, none of my kids ate the pizza from there. It was like
like people taco night.
I think I visited the toilet multiple times. It was just not.
Wow. This is why they're warm.
And there was a furry convention in town too, which was awesome.
Shut up! Are you? No, you're making that up.
For reals. No, fucking big for reals. It was like we were sitting there.
Oh wait! Oh yeah, there just happened to be a furry convention in town, right, Simon? Oh no! Oh, I didn't know there was going to be a furry convention in town, family. But here we are. Maybe we should go.
Look at us.
That actually looks good.
Like walking stuffed animals.
Like, look at this. They have this on the
that's so bad
for their menu.
That's not
disgusting.
Good.
But like
this,
this is like
that. That I'd fuck with that. Yeah.
Like their pepperoni was fine, I guess, but they had so much pepperoni on it that it was like,
yeah,
like this.
What the fuck is a tropical delight? Please scroll to that because
that sounds like your shit, Maggie.
It's probably got mango.
I don't like fucking ham and pork and all that bullshit. What is that?
Pineapple. There you go.
That is not right.
That's
no. That's not right.
There's too much pig on that pizza, which is
too much everything. Like you need back off the fucking toppings and make good crust. That's what I'm saying. So
if you ain't got good crust, you don't have a pizza.
This brings me to my of brewers who can't make fucking
no. Whoa. I've had the taco pizzas are one thing. Those are just, that's just tomatoes.
This is tomatoes.
Everything a taco has on it and more.
The best part is you decided this was the photo to use. To represent you. I mean, I'm hypercritical on photos because that's what I do or did. And this was the photo you decided to use. You couldn't have gotten a side shot or got close, but this is not melted. This is just sprinkled on top.
Maybe these people are originally from Ohio.
Maybe it's Ohio by
I don't know.
Oregon by Ohio.
It was not. It was Bayou Blast. Shrimpling. What the hell is?
What was? I also saw a Sailor's Delight.
That's a sausage. That's a sausage. That's a good sausage.
A sausage? Okay.
Yeah.
Jambalaya seasoning.
What was the? I saw a Sailor's Delight. Where was that one at? That has to be some sort of. That's
no, not fish. Not fish.
So it's
really?
What is that?
No,
how's that a Sailor's?
That was Sailor's Delight.
Nothing to do with
I was expecting it to be way more.
31 bucks for 15 inches. Shit. I'll give you 15 inches.
Girl,
it's after 10:30 when you're getting 15 inches.
A pizza, man.
Is it after 10:30? Yeah.
That's like a solid medium size at Pizza Shuttle. Did I say Pizza Shuttle? Pizza
Classic Slice. I don't know.
Classic Slice. Thank you. There you go.
Slice.
I think Classic Slice is the best pizza in Milwaukee, but I'm partial to
good.
Yeah, I'm partial to New York style, and I have a lot of good memories there. So I feel like for me, that's always going to be my favorite.
It's the Drake special. Sorry.
I mean, there's a lot of good. There's the 15-inch classic. Yeah,
It's a good joke. It's a good joke.
R.I.P. Private Jets. I had to Google that one. It's hard to find the photo. Anyways,
bless your Google.
But what's your answer, Maggie?
Okay. White
qualifying. Yeah, well, yeah.
Flour Girl and Flame.
Okay. Fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
Strong.
I do like Classic Slice.
Yeah. So I guess my qualifiers, as much as I love Wai's crust, I could eat all day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes the toppings are very salty. It can be like my acid reflux is going double time. I love it. Their focaccia is to die for. So good.
Yeah.
So Landon, whenever you make it down to visit us, I'll take you.
Yeah. That sounds great. Away. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
The Detroit style from Flour Girl is perfection. I do like their wood fired. It's great. It's beautiful.
We had a beer called Pizza Beer, and they had our pizza beer.
You and
good beer.
Did you clear that? Yeah, I was gonna say, did you clear that with Lafler?
Fuck no. Come at me, bro.
Beer for
pizza for beer.
We just launched taco beer.
Is that a what is that Thursday night special?
Light lager with lime.
Ooh.
So good.
I want that.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Do you have it on right? Is it on right now? Oh,
yeah,
I can't.
Bro.
God damn it.
Like you can't drink?
I got
goiter.
So this is gonna come as quite a surprise right now. I tested positive for COVID yesterday. It's just this little baby cold.
Text me your address. We got to inform.
No, get out of here. Get out of here.
I will get out of here. What's your address? I also want to look.
Can you imagine? Drinking an iced barley wine on COVID? That's fine.
Oh, I thought you said, could you imagine getting a beer dropped off at your porch? Thanks, Maggie.
Oh, no. I can imagine that.
I have done that. I have done that.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of it that was consumed is 100%.
I love that.
I'm drinking a High Life now, but you know.
Badger beer 2 hours and a half. This is great.
Yes. We didn't
Brothers
even
and
have
Brews.
a Draws. We didn't even have
Brothers
a
and
Draws
Booze
interview.
over the. We kind of did.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
And we broke news.
We broke 2 news.
Yeah.
All the news.
Yeah, and I had y'all had me wanting a Venture Saison, so I had one.
Ooh, I got some new hot brewery goss, but I'll tell Chris that later.
Ooh.
You can't just bring it up and not
Off the air.
Well, I can't say this stuff on air.
After hours.
Yeah.
Nice.
If only, man. I can't find that shit. I looked on Reddit. I didn't
just ask ChatGPT just ask ChatGPT to make it for you.
I should, man.
This is good.
Let me change my avatar. Shit. Well, let me change it. Here we go. I got a new one.
I ended up seeing it, and it was mind-boggling. Let's just put that.
Is it real? No. I don't even.
I don't know if it's, I don't know.
He leaked his own shit.
Real.
Yeah, it was. He knew he had a good angle day, and he was like, you know what? We're sending this out to the masses.
A good angle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
I can't believe
I didn't have this on my bingo card for tonight.
Yeah,
so we're going to do this.
Found it. Nice.
So
Greg cut us off on the Drake talk. Straight facts.
Well, the last call is where we get to talk about whatever we want to on the Badger Beer Hour. We usually use it to reflect on interviews and things that
did we forget
before.
Did we forget that rule for the previous 2.5 hours?
Yes.
Well, so with that being said, Chris, you can go first because you usually go first in the last call. If you want to comment on anything that happened previously.
Well,
I'll shut my mic like I normally do.
I just want to talk about Bud Light a little bit. Because I feel like that was a very intentional stacking of programming so that we didn't get to give you shit for that for a really long time.
But never.
And I don't even know if I've got anything to say about it, but I just want to bring up that you beer spotlighted Bud Light.
Well, and then he didn't even give us all the aroma notes and in the tasting. I wanted a full. If you're doing the Bud Light, we got to have the full on. We need to hear. This is
sensory analysis.
Right now.
Let's go.
He just said he had a dirty glass.
And it was a bubbly boy.
Just the beer.
It was filthy. Shit was grody.
I think it only goes into a dirty glass.
It was cleaner before the beer went into it. Yeah.
Yeah. You ain't wrong.
Yeah, if it goes into a clean glass, it actually starts corroding it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's funny that there's some kind of allyship happening. At least that's what I thought. You're like, no, people are going to be mad about this, and I'm like, what is happening? This world is warping around back on itself, and it's it's weird. It's like some 6-dimensional shape.
That's right.
That's all. That's all I had to say. That's all I got. You can drink Bud Light if you want, man. That's cool.
Chris, it's last call. What's going on with the
oh, fine. All right.
Beer badging.
Beer baron. We got I'm back in the state journal. We're doing that again. I'm going to be writing a little bit about some new light lagers on the market that are happening, that are exciting and fun and new and various. There may have been one drinked on the. Well, it is properly drunk, but drunk has a different meaning.
Drink it.
That's not the one. That's not the one.
Are the light lagers brewed with oak staves? Like Bud Light.
Oak staves?
No, that's Anheuser. That's Busch.
Beechwood.
Oh, is that Busch? Oh,
Beechwood,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Beechwood age.
Whatever.
No, it's Bud Heavy. That's Bud Heavy.
Yeah.
It may.
Krausening.
Oh, okay, sure.
Krausening that's actually a thing. So.
It may as well be. It may as well be particle board staves. Who gives a shit
naturally.
what it is?
Yeah, that's right. They have their own forest.
Yeah. No, that's great.
Particle board staves.
Good for them.
That's great.
Happy for
notes of glue.
Way to go.
Notes of glue and binding compound.
Yeah, it may taste better. I don't know. You never know.
I don't know. You guys know where to find me. That's fine. It's cool. Go buy the February issue of Milwaukee Magazine. Racists are mad about it.
I'm gonna subscribe.
Yeah, we put the county executive and the mayor on the cover, and we got 3 rambling varying degrees of coherence, but people who were saying they were definitely not mad about that, but we're definitely going to cancel their subscription because of that. So hell yeah,
good job.
Because
that's just fine.
We put them on.
Bye, Felicia.
That's right.
Whatever.
That's probably a little bit too much information, but if you do not feel that way, you should go buy that issue of Milwaukee Magazine on the newsstand in the next month.
Will do.
Buy 2.
Landon, what's going on with Taproom Travelers?
Nothing immediate with Taproom Travelers, but if you are in the area, you may see me behind the bar at Lazy Monk.
Ooh.
I'm pouring beer again. So
that's cool.
Chris, let's go.
Just randomly, So I may not be there all the time, but yeah.
Whoa, wait, Landon.
Yeah.
He's not there now.
I'm not there right now. I'm in my basement.
Am I wrong, or is this new, or am I out of my thing here?
No, that's something old. I don't know where you found that.
On your website.
Is the website still up? We stopped paying for it.
That's what it says.
I'll be damned. Well, you found something that I didn't even know existed. Good job.
All right, so we can come heckle you about how much you love this, Landon. We can come heckle you about how much you love this.
Good God! Oh, don't even show up with that shit.
I'll
kick you out.
I'm gonna have to Google what that top is from, because it's not a drink.
That is not.
That top is not from a drink.
So, Joel, what's going on with Brewery Travelers?
Well, I'll probably have more hopefully updates with next Badger Beer Hour here in a couple weeks, but working on getting the book publishing deal stuff sorted out hopefully. And I know I talked about this last week, but be coming up here in less than a month now from the Hawaii trip, and then I'll be one state away from getting to a brewery in all 50, getting close.
What's the last state?
Alaska, which I will be going to at the end of June. I went to Alaska in high school, but I obviously was not visiting breweries at that point. So we are making
what breweries are on your agenda there?
In Alaska?
Yeah.
I can tell you because I have it all mapped up on my Google Maps because I'm planning months ahead. Obviously in Juneau, it's pretty much all of them in Juneau because there's only like 5 or 6 in Juneau.
There's 5 or 6 breweries in Juneau. That's like not a very big town.
No, but because obviously there's Alaska Brewing. That's kind of the big one. Devil's Club, Barnaby.
I've been to Barnaby.
Yeah,
in their old place before the old place burned down.
And one called Forbidden Peak, and then obviously up in Anchorage, I'm going to go to Anchorage Brewing. That's kind of one of the big names up there. Yeah. But yeah, then there's a whole host. So we're going to have, I think, 5 nights in Anchorage. So I'm going to be able to get to quite a few up there. So if you have any, like I said, I've got most all of them marked at least. But if there's one or two, if you know a beer that you really think I should go and try,
are you getting down to the Kenai Peninsula at all? Homer?
I don't know
Homer
for
Brewing
sure
Company?
yet. What was that?
Homer Brewing Company?
I don't know if we're getting that far down. If we do, I will have to see. So we're going. It's with my whole family. So wife,
okay,
young kids, and my parents. My dad also enjoys craft beer. The rest of the crew does not. So it isn't necessarily just specifically going to be, hey, we're going to drive, long distances to go just for beer. But we will have to see.
Homer is a gorgeous, microcosm of Alaska, just like the scenery and the everything that's there. So, and that it's out on this little spit, like a little sand that sticks out into the Kachemak Bay. It's amazing.
No, and like I said,
think the beer probably sucks, but
well, I mean, it's cool. I'm sure it'll be, it's for the experience.
I have a Homer Brewing Alaska or a Homer Brewing shirt somewhere in this room, but I don't know where it is.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll have more updates on the travel and stuff between now and then. Like I said, the book stuff is more longer term by the end of the year, but working on. I've got most of the book written. Now it's just a matter of getting things squared away with publishing and whatnot. So, but yeah, otherwise just sharing my ventures to new breweries. I've going up to Minnesota here, I guess next weekend. So I'll go to a few new ones there, but otherwise, that'll be, that's pretty much it on my end.
Fun. Maggie.
Yeah.
What's going on with you? What's going on with Rev? What's going on? I know we have I know you're tuned into the big game on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm hosting my friend Lindsay. She's going to come over and we're going to have snacks and it'll be great. I'm excited to be home. I got home like 5 hours ago, so I'm excited to be here. Mm-hmm. I think the Kansas City Chiefs are going to win. That's outside of being a Swiftie. I don't know. I'm not getting scores. It has nothing to do with Taylor Swift. I just think they have a better put together team as a whole. All that jazz. Anyways, Revolution though.
Vikings gonna win.
What?
Nothing. Carry on.
Okay. With Revolution, we're launching Cold Time Package in March. Along with March, we're also celebrating Women's Month. So local breweries that are repped, or just actually breweries that are repped by women, we're all getting together and creating different events throughout the month of March in Milwaukee, Madison, and we have a big one in Appleton as well. Those accounts are also donating to domestic violence shelters and helping families and people in those situations. Last March for 2023, I had to look at the fucking calendar like it wasn't 2024. It's fine. We raised about $8,000. So our goal this coming March is to do 10. And that was just in the Milwaukee area. Cold Time Package. We're changing our 12 packs from League of Heroes to a non-rotating IPA variety pack. So those will also come into like March, April play. I don't know. I'm going to Montana in July. I don't know. I don't know what you want from me.
Places ever.
There you go.
Big old sky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love Montana. Love it.
Same. I went like it was the only vacation I took in a very long time, but it was kind of when I was working at OPE very, very briefly, and now I get to go back. So just out there playing on that. And my kids are 19 in 10 days.
Jeez.
Don't age yourself like that. I got it.
I have two girls tell me I was 25 at Brothers last night, so I'm
get it,
good.
girl.
Yeah, and then I turn around and plucked a gray eyebrow hair. So like real full circle, you know.
Well, wait, hold on though. You might be 25 if you were at Brothers last night.
I closed Brothers last night in Iowa City.
You closed Brothers last night. Okay, you are 25.
That's because you got a 19-year-old.
There's like chronological age and then like actual age, and you got it.
I'm here for it. I have so much fun in Iowa City.
Oh, man.
It was unreal. I loved it. It was great. It was Mud Club night. We were here for it. Hold on.
So,
BiB. Just kidding.
So Maggie, every time you talk about Revolution and what's coming out, I listen really astutely, because as Chris said in his wonderful long-winded way earlier, Revolution Brewing to me is one of those ones that you follow what they're doing, because what they're doing is always smart as far as what the market is saying. So y'all always give y'all people what they want, period. So when you say, oh, we're switching to this or we're switching to that, I'm like, oh, okay, because that's what the market is saying.
I mean, like when you have the beer aficionado, shout out Doug Belke for that one, giving those
Brothers
predictions.
and Booze alumni.
Yep. There you go. There's also like a financial aspect to it too, right? So this ties into making this more affordable for the consumer. So the price gets to drop with this variety pack because we're taking less time to design new packaging. So every like quarter or whatever, we would do a new League of Heroes. Okay, well, it's new recipes, right? Different IPAs get rotated into there. The only remaining, the only standing one is Anti-Hero. So you're down without creating recipes. You don't have to test anything anymore because you're going with cores and understandable beers. So your artwork changes. You're more committed to a packaging, and then you're not like, let's say you package all of it, right? So you have Medusa Hero, you have all these different heroes. You package it, you have leftover cans that you're not ever going to use again. What do you do with those? I have no idea. You're just going to crumple them up and recycle them. That's a waste of money left and right because those are printed cans. So anyways, it goes into reducing the confusion, reducing the waste, and consolidating finances and making it more affordable for not only the brewery, but for the consumer. There you go.
Yeah. Look at that.
Muy nice.
And
full circle.
So Simon, normally during the last call we talk about things that are going on with your brewery, but I think we kind of touched that a little bit. So if you have anything more to talk about what's going on with Venture, or if you would like to double back on what you talked about, the floor is yours, my friend.
Always. Thank you, sir. There's always things going on. So we actually are launching a couple of things. One, we are launching a coffee class. So we're calling it Coffee What the Fuck, or Coffee WTF, which is kind of like a 101 class. So if you want to know what, if you want to walk into a coffee shop and look at the bag and know what all of that bullshit means, sign up for this class. So we'll take you through the basics of that. Eventually we'll kind of do a beer what the fuck, which would be like a beer 101. I don't know how. I'm working on trying to figure out how to distill beer down to a 101 kind of 2-hour course, but we have a couple of tickets left for the Coffee WTF, so you can find those on our website or on our Instagram in the kind of link tree. We also have a handful of Mug Club memberships left, so if people are interested in those, that's if you're in the Milwaukee area and you're at our tap room often, it makes sense to pick one of them up. Or you want any of the special beers and pre-releases, that's a solid option as well. We host at least 1 to 2 Mug Club parties a year. Chris has never been to one of them.
False.
I'm kidding.
I have only been to one of them though, so
yeah. It was a holiday one. It was a chili cook-off, and I'm pretty sure nobody left. There were like 15 or 16 different chilies that people brought, and nobody left with chili.
It was so good.
It was really good. Chelsea's was so hot.
Yeah.
It was very hot. Very spicy.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Face melter. Yeah.
So there's that as well. I'll probably be posting something on social about that in the near future, and that'll actually probably work. That'll work at both tap rooms. So we're planning on having we normally do a mug club member party in like March, April, May. So we'll probably have one at each location on separate days, and then we'll have a holiday party at each location on separate days. So if you wanted and you were aggressive, you could go to 4 holiday parties, which are always a lot of fun. So I don't know. I'm gonna be at them probably. Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, that's a good reason to go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good times here, y'all. Normally we do a review of beers, and since y'all really love the beers that I had tonight, I'm going to do a review of mine. So the best one I had was clearly this.
Naturally.
Right? Right.
Yes.
Right. And then this.
Mm-hmm.
And then this. Nah, come on. Obviously, these are the best ones I had. Obviously, 2 Venture Brewing beers. Because I'm a Venture Brewing fan. Regardless of whether Simon's here, I said it a gazillion times.
Appreciate it.
This was fun. Well, the proof's in the pudding, man. I don't come to Milwaukee without stopping in your place.
True.
You know this.
True.
You know this. It's the first stop, actually. This is pretty good. Anybody else want to talk about the beers that you had? Want to showcase them before we get out of here? And I say my final words, and y'all say some final words. But it was amazing having y'all here. All of y'all, the whole gang, the whole crew. You can see us again, not this Wednesday, but the following Wednesday. Crew's going to be back together. It's a project that I absolutely love. Put a lot of work into it. And I think the results are just amazing because y'all are fucking great. And that's how it works. Maggie and Simon are big supporters of us, and we thank them and their knowledge, and we're always bitching and sharing ideas about it in our thread and going back and forth on things. But I completely appreciate all of your knowledge. Y'all all make me stronger and bigger. I don't know as anything compared to what y'all do. It's just the truth. So on that note, anybody, Landon, you want to talk about your beers? Anybody want to talk about beers quick? What you had, you don't care. You can get out of here.
Go drink Cold Time.
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah, we gotta plug Cold Time one more time for sure.
Cold Time.
That comes out when, Maggie?
So the package hits in March, but you can find it locally or all throughout Wisconsin on tap. There you go.
Chris, you had some interesting beers.
I did. I started with an orphan fat squirrel, which was really good. I had this little open beer thing from New Belgium, which doesn't really say New Belgium on it anywhere. I guess it does, yeah.
That could work both ways, actually.
So that's interesting. It's nice beer. And then there's the ice barley wine, which was phenomenal as it warmed. Tons of like vanilla, like straight up vanilla. And just a reminder that those are dropping at Central Waters, Amherst, and Milwaukee next the 24th, I think. Something like that. That's it for me.
Chris gets it weeks before us minions can get it.
No.
Joel, how are you?
This is from last year. This is last year's version. Very sensitive to accusations of such.
I mean, I didn't
we throw them around on Fridays, Chris.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Anyway, what's up, Joel?
I was going to say I didn't have anything super exciting today. I know I kind of hinted at that. I'm going to have to go out and be more adventurous. I just had a happy place. And then if you were here last week, I actually just did the same thing I had last time, the Mexican dark lager from Lakefront. So
that one's good.
Good beer.
Yeah, so
that one's good.
Nothing too crazy, but beers that
Lakefront's
I enjoy.
been killing it with their seasonals. That Stodala.
I love Lakefront.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, Maggie and Simon, Badger Beer Hour crew wants to thank y'all for being here. Making it far more interesting than if it was just us three. So, we're four now. I got to get that right.
Now,
yeah. Because
I've already
we
been
would
voted off
stop
the
talking
island.
about this.
Oh,
God. Just
disgusting.
take it off the screen.
Probably gonna poop in my pants right now.
Oh.
I'd rather eat that than that, Simon.
You don't know what I just
And on that note, y'all, KC or 49ers, anybody here want the 49ers?
I want them to win. I don't know if they're gonna win.
They are the better overall team, but betting against Mahomes is where you can't do it. So
I'm gonna do my best to help either one of these teams win.
I'd like neither of them to win. Can we just move on to next season?
Packers.
Yeah, Jordan Love, baby.
Those Green Bay Packers should have beaten those 49ers.
Yeah.
100%.
Apparently,
Sure,
are you not a Jordan Love fan?
I'm not a Packer fan.
No,
he's a Vikings. Don't even listen to him. I mean, just put that in the background of
He's never seen a Super Bowl trophy lifted in his life.
Oh, nobody's heard that before.
Get in the back seat.
Come at me with something new.
You don't have to. You don't have to come up with anything new. That's the point.
No. That's a Packer fan. Can't come up with anything new.
Well, because we don't have
Well,
to.
it's this. That's because when the same joke works for 50 years, you don't have to go away from it.
You had two Hall of Fame quarterbacks, and all you got was 2 Super Bowls out of it.
And that's
still
like more than you've ever seen.
30 years. What a waste.
Dang.
How many Hall of Fame quarterbacks you had, homie?
The stadium's a big toilet.
But are you a Vikings fan too, Landon?
Yeah.
Bro.
Great.
Hey, but here's the deal. Kirk Cousins checks into hotels as Kendrick Cousins because he doesn't want to be recognized. That's his pseudonym. That's his pen name.
So fucking lame. He's not even creative.
I don't care. I'm not like
I don't
Cousins
care.
Cousins is a nice guy.
Here's the deal.
He's not a
Here's
great
the
Do
deal.
you ever see his steaks? Do you ever see him grill steaks?
I'm sure they're well done.
No, they look like they came out of a package and just were microwaved.
He tucks his t-shirts in. I don't know what you want me to say about him. I'm not.
He's a nice.
I want you to acknowledge that he sucks.
I'm not like a Packer fan, and like everybody that comes onto my team, I'm not like, wow, they're so good.
Oh no, we do not think that.
I do everything that
I don't have like jerseys of everybody that's ever played for my team because they were good for 5 seconds.
Landon, I'm serious. You should follow dudes on Packers Twitter. You would love it.
No,
the melting down about the dumbest things. It's the best.
Yeah.
My favorite thing is when any football fan punches their TV or throws something and breaks it because they're so angry
I don't
their
understand.
team lost.
I don't
do it right. I'm like,
what is wrong with people?
There's a lot more in life than that.
Like, yes.
Y'alls. Here's the deal. I've done so much to help the Vikings win over the years that I deserve to punch my TV because I was in it. I was in the trenches. I ran the ball. Oh wait. No, I made 0 decisions. That's right.
Yeah.
All I do is mess with Packer fans.
Yeah.
This comment: Kirk Cousins for Pizza Ranch president. Jesus.
I don't know. Pizza Ranch might be too spicy for Kirk Cousins. I don't know.
No, I think Kirk Cousins. Didn't he do commercials for them?
Did he?
I feel like that might have happened.
I think he did.
I don't get as far as like Viking stuff. I don't get much here.
I'm gonna
yeah.
I think it's true.
I don't see it. If he did it, I didn't see it.
Oh, you.
He would be a good spokesman for Coles.
Well, that's where he shot.
Hey! Yeah. Hold on. Let's pump the brakes on Cole slander. All right.
Wait, are you getting paid by them?
No, but like
He probably is.
I mean,
Mhm.
no.
Cole's cash coming in.
No.
I
got that Cole's hard cash.
That reminds me of
think
my one of my favorite memories from the Bucks title run was when the Suns fan that they showed and he was doing the counting of the dollar bills, being all like, being a D-bag. And then the next home game at the Bucks game, there was some fan mocking him with Cole's cash sitting in the front row pretending and like flipping the Cole's cash, and everything. So that is one of my favorite Cole's cash memories.
It's good.
That is good. Bucks and 6.
You should be able to find them on our link tree on our Instagram or on our latest Instagram or Facebook post, Debbie, for the coffee class.
Yeah, Debbie.
Whoa!
My internet was good until the end, y'all. So,
hey,
it's okay. Hey,
Greg, this was a tour de force of internet.
I'm holding it down with your AI generated photo. No problem.
Hey.
I love it.